right. Let's go. What's up, Slider? I just, for whatever reason, I just cannot get Arena Social to work for me. Okay. Live stream, thumbnail. Let me try this again. No, I don't want to gate it. Let's just start the stream. I'm live right now. You created a new stream. Okay. How's everyone doing? Actually, I need to fix the chat really quick. Man, I might switch off of OBS. I don't know what it is. I just half the stuff I'm trying to get to work is just not working. What's up, Slider? Tammy, nice to see you. Are you back from wherever you are traveling? Are you back in Arizona now? Just curious. Pasternak, what's up? Thanks guys for hanging out. Let's see. Is Arena Social still giving me issues? Yeah, I do not know what's going on. Let me see something. Hey, how you? I'm gonna butcher this. Huakas? I don't know. It's. Sorry if I butchered your name. You seem like a new name. Thanks for stopping by, dude. I don't know what's going on with Arena Social. I've tried restreaming. I've tried doing dual stream, restream. I've tried about 5 or 6 different things, and just nothing is working on Arena Social. So I might have to get with BE. I might just get off of OBS altogether, to be honest. It seems like everyone is using StreamYard. It's just way easier to use. It's less customization, but it's just infinitely easier to use. You can bring on guests easier. Apparently, you can stream to other platforms easier. So I might have to just get off of OBS. It kind of sucks because I spent like $100 a month ago for the whole multi-streaming platform thing, but it's just not working. Let's see here. Let's get a window capture going. Collectibles. There we go. All right. Yeah, I was just looking at some random comics earlier. One thing I've kind of noticed. Actually, let me say hi to chat really quick, and then I'll catch up with you guys. Hope everyone's doing well. No, still in Vegas. Blog. Everyone getting ready to go on Randy's stream in 10. Awesome. In a Vegas hotel for a total of 5 weeks? Jeez. I know it depends on the hotel, I guess. Some of them are really nice. Some are not so much. I mean, I haven't really even been to Vegas that many times in my life. I think only like 3 or 4 times. And like 2 of the times I was like with family. And the other time it was just for like a short weekend, like 2 days. So that's how. Hey, good to see you. Yeah. What's up, That's How? Yeah, a lot of new names showing up here. Vibes, we're vibing now, yeah. Huakas. Okay. Huakas. I'll try and remember that. Huakas. It's a Veve mod on Discord. Okay, I should probably know that. I will say I need to spend more time on the Discord because I mean, I think like the first year I was on Veve, so from late 2021 till probably like mid, 2022 or something like that. I was on Discord a lot, chatting with people, seeing what's up, all that stuff. And then, just got busy, things like that. So, but I do like hanging out on the Discord. Sometimes I'll go in there and like lurk a little bit, just see what people are saying. Um, I might have to join the D&D group and see what that's all about. I'm not sure how often you guys play, but I almost thought about, I do want to join a group first online and just kind of experience it online, because every time I've done it has been in person. I've actually played once or twice online, which is fine. There was almost a point, I remember a few years ago, I thought about like, oh, it'd be cool to like host either like a bunch of one shots or like a D&D campaign with content creators, Veve content creators and stuff. I know Sleeping Comics is a very big D&D fan. So it's, I don't know, I thought I would do something like that just because it's fun, creative, and it's something you can do. Like one shots usually take 2 to 4 hours. I'd probably keep it to like 2 or 3, but what's up? Glad everyone's here. So, yeah, what'd you guys think about the talk with Dan? I woke up at like 4 a.m. this morning or something like that, like 4:30 a.m. To watch Dan speak live, which was really cool. So you always watch your streams, Vibes? Okay, are you, I don't know, I feel like it's been a while since I've seen your name, but then again, I don't stream very consistently, so. Pasternak, yeah, we're just talking to each other, I dig it. So 1:30 a.m. for you, yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, it's a different time for everyone. Did you watch it live or did you wait till later? I watched it live. It was, I knew it was going to be relatively short because I did see it was like, I don't chat him or not. Yeah, you're a lurker. It's all right. I accept lurkers. So if you want to lurk and just watch, that's fine. But yeah, the talk was super interesting. Obviously, everyone's kind of freaking out about the whole talk of interoperability and all that kind of stuff. I am cautiously optimistic. I'll say that. I really like what they're doing. I thought that was already a thing they've been talking about for a couple of years now. Like, hey, we're talking with our licensors about getting stuff off platform and interoperability, really buying into the idea of like blockchain technology and perpetual royalties and things. I was like lost the word, perpetual royalties and things like that. So I kind of already thought they were, I mean, it's nice to get reminded that it's like official and they're kind of really putting it out there. But right now it's just kind of timeline wise now, right? So Dan did say that there was like a big announcement coming up in the next couple weeks. So it's either a new big IP, right? Or it could be the announcement, right? Like, hey, we have these licensors willing to, get their stuff off platform and entertain the idea of like Web3 and all that kind of stuff. So, because I did see on the slide, it did say, pending licensor approval. So at the end of the day, it's always going to be up to them. But I do think, I believe Dan and David can like put together a good proposition to convince them to go over. But I was half zombie. Yeah, I was the same way too. I was pretty darn tired. And I thought I could go back to sleep, but I just couldn't. So kind of running on like 4 hours of sleep today, but yeah, so I'm excited. I mean, it's nice to hear. I mean, I watched a Collector's Gone Digital stream today, and he mentioned there was like a rumor that it could be like Minecraft. I guess Dan mentioned something in like an unofficial way at like an offsite, how this new IP has like 300 million users or something like that. I don't know. It's just a rumor, but we'll see. I'm kind of at the point now where until it's officially said, it's on X, Dan and David say, yes, this is happening. Here's the date. Here's when it's happening. I'm excited, but again, is it going to take 3 weeks, 3 months, 3 years? I think obviously a lot of people in Veve are a little concerned that, hey, are we going to miss this, quote unquote bull cycle, this bull run, if crypto really takes off in the next, 3 months to 6, 9, 10, 12 months, are we going to miss out on all that and stuff like that? Cause, that's kind of what's going on with me. I'm excited. But at the same time, I've kind of learned like, in the long run, I know we're going to be fine, but it's just a matter of like, is it going to happen sooner rather than later? And who's signing up? Thinking of switching some of my crypto to OMI. You think NFT to OMI is going to have an effect on the price soon? Yeah, yeah, I mean, we've had Omi to NFT for a while now, right? Um, it's just one of those things with crypto, unfortunately. Is it one of those things where it's like, does narrative drive price or does price drive narrative, right? So, you know, people want Omi to NFT and all that stuff. I will say, like, now that I did spend quite a bit of time, and that's kind of part of the reason why I took a bit of a break, because I was doing a bit of like crypto trading. That even includes like altcoins and even like a little bit of meme coin trading, just to kind of understand trading at all levels and stuff. And I've been in some small groups that talked about it and stuff. You know, like Omi's great. The tokenomics doesn't look great, right? Because I think someone mentioned that like the top 10 wallets hold like 30% of the supply, but you know, obviously Dan and David aren't planning, or I don't know if they can or can't or whatever, sell the majority of their supply and stuff like that. So we'll see. But I mean, Omi is at its essentially its all-time low. I mean, if you're buying it around 0002, even 0000 like 22 or 23 or 0019, whatever it is, it's way better than, you know. I remember when I bought my first million Omi, I think it cost me like $1,100 or something like that. I mean, that was like 2 years ago. Now I can get a million Omi for $200, you know, maybe a little bit more. So, I mean, if you're thinking about buying some and you're just not sure how much to kind of like put in, you know, yeah, it's up to you. People are already kind of doing a little bit of like Omi to NFT to like gem arbitrage a little bit. Like occasionally you will see, I mean, there was an SR Spider-Man the other day that was selling for like $2,200 in Omi, but like the floor price on Veve was like $2,600. So it's kind of interesting. Some people are gem poor, some people are Omi poor, and they're trying to sell stuff for more Omi. I'm kind of going that way a little bit, but right now I'm still selling most of my stuff for gems for the most part. Especially since it does seem like Veve does release either a new Grail or a new very important IP pretty much every like 2 to 3 months. You know, Grogu I think was the most recent kind of like big drop that we got, and it sounds like we got another big IP just over the horizon. So yeah, this arena social thing is just not working, so I'm just gonna end the stream for the most part. I have to talk with BE on how he does it, but for whatever reason, I've tried streaming on Arena Social, doing like a multi-stream thing 3 different ways, and it's just not working. All my crypto is down, was hoping it would all go up and Omi stay down, then trade for Omi. Yeah, you can certainly do that. You know, and the other thing that's holding Omi back too is that, you know, it's not on, Omi itself isn't on, you know, major exchanges and stuff like that, at least just yet, so. Let's see. But cool. Yeah, so today, I mean, I wanted to, obviously talk about, you know, the chat with, you know, the announcement that Dan had in Lisbon. Also the booth, too, looked really good. Did Veve post anything about, like, pictures of the booth or anything like that? More formally? Oh, actually, Veve just posted this video. We can watch it really quick. Apparently. Actually,
hey,
pause this.
I'm here with David Yu, CEO and co-founder of Veve Digital Collectibles, and we are at the rooftop party in Lisbon tonight. And I wanted to ask you, how does it feel to be here celebrating with a slew of level 100s tonight?
Yeah, there's a lot of level 100 people there.
Tonight we're gonna have 5 new awards presenting out to 5 new level 100s. You know, I've been nearly out of my voice, been talking to, if not hundreds of fans here in Lisbon, celebrating with us. You know, this is just amazing event. Partnership with our Ecomi, obviously, Veve, Stacker, and, you know, just great vibes on the rooftop here.
Super immaculate vibes. And what do you think that these parties mean to the company and the community at all?
Well, it's always in our vision that we wanted to build a community-based project, and as much as it's our project, it's, you know, it's the fans, it's the community that brought us here together. And I think a lot of us have met people in this journey from the day one to now that they would never thought they will be.
Jeez, so many level 100s.
You know, people who share the same interests. So it's really amazing to see everyone come together, flying all around the world. I mean, I saw 5-man, St. Matthew, flew in from London. I got a text from him. He goes, oh, I've decided to come in. I couldn't miss out. So just that, you know, extra things, it's just really encouraged why we're building this community.
Absolutely. I mean, I would not be in Portugal right now if not for Veve and this whole community. So you guys helped create that. Thank you. And let's get back to it.
Well, thanks for coming and please enjoy it. And for lots of you watching this, you know, we will be in hopefully one of your city, in your town, and we'll love you to be part of our vibrant community, and we'll see you soon.
Awesome. Yeah, well, Veve just posted that like 2 minutes ago, so I was like, might as well just put it on the stream, you know. But yeah, like it, retweet it, all this stuff. I think I'll like it on YouTube a bit later, but let's get the music going again. But yeah, that's cool. So I've had an idea about these level 100s because honestly, we've kind of gotten to the point now where like there's quite a few level 100s, and like once you hit there, like what's beyond that, right? I might have to make that a different video. I just had like a random idea about I don't know if you guys ever played like Diablo or any of these other games, but there's like Diablo, Call of Duty, whatever else, where you can essentially like prestige your account of essentially like you can start over again at level 1, but there's kind of like a little marker and indicator showing that you've already hit level 100, and now you're just kind of like leveling up your account again, which I think is pretty fun. Either that, or you can do kind of like a Paragon system where you stay at level 100, but every so often, or maybe every year you've been at level 100, there's a little badge or something like that. So I think there's something, it would be interesting if there was something beyond level 100, instead of like hitting that, you stop and, you spend your first 2-3 years on Veve at hitting level 100, and then you spend the next 20 years kind of stuck at level 100. I would assume Veve would hopefully do something different, or maybe increase the cap or something like that. That would be cool. But I think it would be cool if there was something beyond level 100 or something to kind of keep leveling up. Because I think if they kind of restarted the account, you start at 1 again. Or I mean, you can opt into it if you want. You don't have to. It doesn't magically, obviously, restart your account, but it depends. So just some ideas kind of thrown out there for the most part. Let's see. And they also talked about, let me see if I can pull it up. Spotify and stuff like that potentially being on, getting involved. Again, I'm excited for it, but until it happens, until it's officially announced, until it actually happens, I'm not. It sounds like it's kind of like, well, if all this pans out, and we get the infrastructure up and running, we get all this stuff done, then things like Shopify could be an option. So, I'm excited, but until then, I'm kind of focused on like the here and now. What are the prices now of things? What are things you can collect? What are things you can do? Stuff like that. And actually, I wanted to see. Price of Omi did move up about 4% today. Yeah, price of Omi did move up about 4% today. Which is decent, but I think even in this realm, I mean, if you're in the low 0002s, I mean, again, that's kind of the low of Omi. Yeah, if you look at the chart, I mean, there was even a point where we were at 0001. Is that right? Oh, there we go. I was like, what? That doesn't seem right. Yeah, we've been kind of below this 0002 for like the better part of like a month and a half now, or hanging out and around that area for the most part. So it's nice to see what Veve is, striving for, but that's why I don't even pay attention to timelines. whether Veve announces it or not. Like, I just, you know, until it's announced, until it's official, until I can kind of access it, that's kind of how I view it. Adro, what's up, dude? Thanks for stopping by. We haven't talked about Grails at all, and today was just going to be a loose conversation. I am going to be making a video soon about like blue chips and Grails and things like that. I'm actually going to show you guys when I looked it up. So I'm going to look at my old video. It is actually kind of hilarious to watch. Video, popular. I'll show you guys. So these are some of my old videos. And the Grail one is this one, which is kind of crazy. I mean, this video has 2,300 views, or actually, no, 2,400 views, which is quite a bit. I mean, those are the kind of numbers I was getting back in like 2021, which is kind of crazy. Like some of my videos got over 2,000 views and stuff like that. But if you guys can notice, these were the things I was considering that were Grails or blue chips back in the day, right? Like there were not a lot of options. This video came out in 2021 that I made. I'm actually gonna go a little bit later. There we go. I'm just gonna show you that basically like what the list was. And I don't know if you guys remember, but I'm gonna do the exact same thing, except I'm going to, do the exact same thing. So that way everyone can fill out their own tier list. So it's gonna have all the same options as I have, but it's gonna be a public thing. So everyone can post, you know, what they think are Grails. And I remember other content creators kind of use this exact same format. They actually used my template because it's so much easier. Honestly, it is kind of a pain to save all of these pictures and upload them all and stuff like that. But considering back then, you know, in my opinion, I think about half of these collectibles aren't on this list anymore. Probably more than half, to be honest. We've gotten so many more drops nowadays. Like the Miles isn't even on this list. Obviously, Baby Yoda isn't on this list. There's been a few other drops too that have happened. I don't even think we even had like Hulk at the time, or like we had Black Panther, but I don't even think we did have Thor. And it's kind of hard because some of these, like in my opinion, I don't know if it's kind of a hot take or if you guys agree or don't. I don't even know if Rizzo's a Grail anymore. I think I have, and this is just my opinion, I've kind of like refocused some stuff that I've kind of believed of like what's actually considered a Grail and what's not. At this point, I think, and I've already kind of done it with my tier list thing, where I've kind of lumped Rizzo with the other two, like Becky Cloonan and let's just look at it. Whoop. Whoop. Sorry, my video's going. All right, so collectible. Let's just look at Todd. Because in my opinion, the reason why Rizzo was so sought after is because it was the scarcest. It was the scarcest of the four, or it was the most scarce of the four. Obviously, Todd takes the cake because it was first on the blockchain technically before any of these four. But at this point, all three of these have the FE tag. If people are going for these, they just want it for a historical value or to like complete a set or something like that. But I just kind of find it hard to imagine that someone would like, even a whale would get on Veve and like just buy Rizzo and that's it. Or like just buy Todd and Rizzo and like that's it. I don't know. That's my take on it. What's up, JKRB? What's up? Now, I do think they're like blue chips, right? Or high A tier or whatever it is. That's kind of what I did last time. But some of these I'm kind of lumping together, like R2-D2 and like C3PO, double FA, even though the mint numbers are kind of far apart. I'm kind of just lumping them together for the most part because I think it's a bit of a coin toss if people are going to buy both or one or the other. And even things like, I'm trying to see some of the other ones. Rizzo is a season 1 first Veve set, and the first physical is the first physical black and white. What do you mean first physical? Like statue? First physical. Oh, like first physical printed. I don't know. In my opinion, I still think Todd takes the cake above these three. Like if you had to organize these, obviously it's like Todd, Rizzo, but I think Todd is that much more important. I think 90% of people, if they ask like, all right, which Batman should I buy? I mean, they're all going to say Todd first. And it's also like, I've also tried to come up with some criteria, right? Where obviously FA tag kind of, you know, takes precedent, but having multiples of the same thing, like even Black Panther, like SR Black Panther, I think has like 2,200 mints, but there's still like 35,000 other versions, still FA, right? So it's not like people are forced to buy the SR Black Panther if they want a FA Black Panther. They could just buy a common, uncommon, you know, they could spend 5 gems and still claim the FA Black Panther. So that alone kind of takes a lot of liquidity out of the SR. So I'm still putting Rizzo in these 3 relatively high. I'm just kind of grouping them together because like Rizzo's the most scarce, but it's I do think all 3 of these for the most part should be lumped together. But again, that's just my opinion. What's Rizzo at right now, price wise? 543. Yeah, like and honestly, like with Todd having 7,500 and he's at 315, and Rizzo, there's 1,750 of him and he's at 543. It's pretty low. Let me see. What's his? I was gonna look it up really quick. I'm like, what's his all-time low? Rizzo. Whoa. The first physical black and white McFarlane figure is Rizzo. It's number 1. I think Todd is the 10th. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, what's his all-time low? 469. So the price has gone up a little bit. It's about 100 gems higher than it was before. Okay, but thanks for clarifying that. So I think that'll help. I don't know. Me personally, I just have trouble putting... And there's a certain point, too. Honestly, when I was looking through the collectibles, I think in this, like, realm, if we kind of take that, like, well, because of this, and, like, all these kind of little asterisks that get put on things, it's very easy to have, like, 88 Grails on the app, you know, because I think some people, I'm kind of curious what you guys think. Like, would you guys consider this... Like, would you guys consider Spider-Man Noir a Grail? Like, is it... Maybe I'll do a poll really quick. Can I do polls on this? I'm just curious what people think. Yes, no. Start poll. Let's see if that works. I don't know. Is Spidey Noir a Grail? Sutter says, depends on how many Batman fans we get in the future, but I think Todd is the Grail out of those. I try and pick Grails for certain fandoms. Helps with narrowing things down. Yeah, I agree. There was a very small list that I made. Let me see if I can find it. I'm still like building it out. Oh my gosh. Every time I open up like my notepad, it always like covers all of my screens across. Yeah, because I'm still trying to build out this kind of like criteria for Grails. Like one of them is undeniable popularity, meaning like if you ask someone on the street, there's like a 75 to 80, like there's above a 75 to 80% chance, like above, that they knew who the character is, right? And I almost kind of want to do like almost kind of like, all right, in order for something to be considered roughly a Grail, it needs 3 out of these 5 criteria, like undeniable popularity, scarcity, important tags like FA, FE, and what's the other one? Like con exclusive. Does it have Veve historical or community significance? So like in my opinion, there's even like flex pieces too, like Donnie and stuff like that, where it's like is Donnie undeniably popular? Like if you ask 1,000 people on the street who Donnie is, like you might get like 15 people that know who actually Donnie is, right? And that's with like no context. Even if you say Donnie from, it's not Adventure Time, but like Powerpuff Girls, it's like, all right, but it's super scarce. It does have the FA tag, and it is historically like VV like it's a VV significant piece because it was essentially the first drop that was like less than 200 minutes, right? I think a lot of the season 1 drops in VV, scarcity was literally more important than anything. It was more important than FA. It was more important than any of the tags. Like that was the thing. So I do think like that kind of old school thinking, unless it kind of carries over for a long period of time, it's like, you know, and the fact that you kind of have to explain this stuff, right? Like if someone's new to the app, I don't know, like something like Todd, it's obvious. But let's see, D'Angelo the physicist, what's up, dude? Yeah, it's been a while. Minor Norm might not be a Grail, but it's worth a lot of money. Agreed, yes. You said yourself, and I agree, some season 1 stuff will hold high value as long as VV does well. I think Rizzo's definitely a huge Grail. That set and Spider-Man set are the best on VV. Yeah, I think what I'm gonna do, kind of in my mind, is like I'm putting kind of Todd at Grail status and putting the other 3 at like blue chip, right? You can't go wrong with buying those, but if we're talking like percent increase potentially of like which ones are going to do the best, it's not just who has the highest like top end value, right? But I think it's also like percentage wise, like which of these collectibles are going to go up in value most, like percentage wise. All right, let's see what the polls say. It hasn't been too long. 4 votes. Okay, whatever. Most people are saying no, and I agree. I was just kind of almost like quizzing you guys because I remember I did this kind of like Grail Talk thing before on stream. I didn't make like an official tier list, but I remember doing like a Grail Talk stream or something like that, like probably like a year or 2 ago. And someone brought up, you know, Spidey Noir, like, oh, Spidey Noir's a Grail. I'm like, well, it's just worth a lot because it is the bottleneck for very, very hardcore Marvel Mighty collectors, and that's kind of it, right? Outside of that realm, not so much. But you know, there's only 88 of them, so obviously that helps its value a lot. Same thing with gosh, there was another one I was thinking about, but there's a handful of collectibles that I think a lot of people in the community think it's a Grail just because it's expensive. Like price just means expensive, right? If we go off that logic, then half of the VV comics off of the app, like on this side of the, I mean, it's like 20% of the comics off of this are Grails because, you know, people, sometimes there's only like 2 in the market and someone will list the floor for like 50,000 gems, you know. Ooh, we got Powerpuff Girls? It's like a Valentine's Day edition. That's interesting. All right, there we go. I think there will be widely accepted Grails in the VV community, but could hold a lot of James Bond fans come into VV, and then one of those jumps up massively, and then that's a Grail now. Yeah, that's definitely the case. I do have I have a small list of collectibles, and I don't know if I even want to like show them to you guys. Let me see. Well, you guys can't see this because I'm not showing my screen, but. Let me try something really quick. I'm still working on the list. And I even used ChatGPT too to help me with a few of these. Like, what are the most popular characters and things like that? Because I know a lot of people like Black Panther, a lot of people like Thor, and all that kind of stuff. And I think those probably go in like low blue chip category or something like that. But I don't know. I don't know if Grails should be a reserved thing for like, hey, these are the top 30 like the top 30 collectibles are the most sought after, the most whatever. Like that's Grail status, and everything below that is like blue chip, because we're gonna get to the point where there's like 150 Grails like on the app, right? It's like, well, Black Panther's popular, so it's a Grail, and then Thor is popular, so that's a Grail, and then Hulk's popular, and then that's a Grail. Like, it's hard to say. One of those Powerpuff Girl covers is Nicoletta Baldari. Really? Yeah. Let me check it out really quick. Wouldn't surprise me. Baldari's not mentioned here. Artist Savannah Ganshow. Yeah, I don't think it's Nicoletta, but still really cool. It's a definitely similar, kind of similar art style, especially like the SR. Kind of looks watercolorish, same thing with like the uncommon. The uncommon and SR look... Okay, the one's a virgin cover. I was like, they look identical, but yeah, one's a virgin variant, like a, you know, virgin variant like cover or whatever. So collectibles are harder to determine. That's why I stick with comics. That's why I don't even bother with like a tier list for comics, because it's already been set in stone. I mean, that, you know, those kind of lists have been around for like 60 years. So I think everyone kind of already knows, you know, what stuff is good and what stuff is, you know, speculative. Perhaps Grail status is dynamic and not static, meaning that it can change over time. I think so, yeah. I mean, we just saw it here, right? Can I find my own old video? Yeah, like this video. So this video I made in 2021, right? So 3 years ago. Blue chip. Would you guys still say Spidey 2099 is blue chip level? In my opinion, I'll put it in A tier now. I mean, then again, this was my opinion back then. You know, the Givenchy like picture, is that a blue chip now? I probably wouldn't put it in blue chip, in my opinion. In the DB5, like 007, if we're talking about the one that has like 7 mints, that's like a flex piece. Like I almost thought about putting like Donnie, the 007 card, like, and a handful of others. Like, okay, those are just like flex pieces. They don't really fit the criteria of like Grails, but it just has such a weird history with like Veve, and certain people got into it, and like the mint numbers are so low that it's almost like anomalous with the way that it acts, especially since with some of these, it's like some people do own, you know, like a good chunk of them. Uncommon and SR all Baldars. Oh, okay. Yeah, thanks for letting me know. I'm not sure why it doesn't show it on the Veve side. Well, at least on the Veve Comics side. NFT Pirates back in the day called... Or sorry, let me reread that. NFT Pirates back in the day talked about how many people, 1,700, will be able to have the first Batman set. That is very true. Yeah. Rizzo is the bottle cap, but or not bottle cap, the bottleneck. I'm just trying to think, like, would you rather have a set or would you rather just have like 4 Todds? But Todd is actually more expensive than the other one, so it's more like 3 Todds versus the whole set, because Rizzo's about 1.5 Todds, and if you add the other 2, it probably equals like another half or a full Todd. Maybe a minor blue chip, yeah. I don't know, for me, it's Superman, Spider-Man, Bader. Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't even know why I put Superman in blue chip. Like, looking back on this now, part of me is just like, how did I not put Superman in Grail status, right? Steamboat Willie, because he has so many mints, I would probably put him in like A tier now. I'm not sure if I put him in blue chip, but remember, like, this was a long time ago. This is like, we didn't really have a lot on the app. You know, it's like I'm putting Coca-Cola bottles up in like A tier, and these are like the collectibles I thought like that were the best on the app, right? I even got like the gold gorilla. Like I said, most of these are probably just gone, or else I'm gonna have 150 collectibles up here, and like people are gonna be scattering everything. Like, I'm trying to focus on like the top like 30 or so. Let me actually see if I can find that list. So in my opinion, so some that aren't on here anymore. Let's see.
It's like Goofy's.
So in my opinion, like there's a couple new Grails in my opinion. All right, no wonder. I was like, where's Veve? It's on the Veve comic side. In my opinion, this is either borderline flex piece or this is another Grail. In my opinion, it's at 1,500 gems. 88 mints. It's the founder of Veve, right? If you feel like Veve is going to be the Amazon of digital collectibles, this is your Elon Musk. This is your, oh my God, I'm totally drawing a blank. Jeff Bezos. I don't know why I completely blanked on it, but that's it. That's essentially the equivalent. It's like, hey, this is like a, you know, if you really believe Veve is going to take off, like this is the equivalent of that. So like, I do think this is a Grail slash, and if this keeps going up in value, if there's going to be hardly ever any listed, there's actually quite a few listed, but I think this is a Steve Jobs. Yeah, that's another good one. It's like, yeah, this is a Grail piece. This is why it gets tricky, because some people like to complete sets, but I'd rather have 3 Todds. It depends. I don't know. I think if you want profit, or if you're able to sell sets, now that's the other thing too. Like, I do think if you could sell sets on Veve as a one thing, or you can kind of sell multiple collectibles from the same thing. I think if collectibles are from the same set and or the same licensor, right, it's going to be kind of difficult to sell a Todd and like a Walt side by side, right? Because one's Disney, one's DC. You know, if someone paid 5,000 gems for both, it's like, all right, how does that money get split? Does DC and Disney both get half, or like does most of it go one way or the other? So, all right, I'm gonna end the poll. I thought I ended the poll already, but Bill Gates. FAs over set, yeah. I agree, to be honest. I like the FAs over the sets. Now, to be honest, I do think some of the sets, I kind of wish some of the sets gave like a little bit more MCP to kind of encourage collecting, but yeah, I do think David Yu is is like one of the newer Grails. Grogu, I think this is another Grail, in my opinion. Right? It's probably the most popular Star Wars character that's probably come out in the last like decade, maybe a little bit longer than that, maybe since like the movie, some of the original movies and stuff. So it's animated, looks very good. It does have an uncommon version, right? So people can't afford this; they can always buy the cheaper version. I think that's okay. Even things like Miles, right? People say Miles is a Grail. I mean, I agree. In my opinion, I think Miles is like a top 3. And I do know it has other versions of it that do kind of like take a little bit of liquidity out, but I think this one's so scarce. It's also a superhero that I think has, I know there's already been a lot of movies and stuff made about Miles Morales, but I think he still has a little bit more runway left. It's not like Thanos, where the story's already been kind of told and done. You know, like the story of Thanos and the MCU and all that stuff, it's kind of done. Maybe there's a flashback, maybe he makes a cameo next movie or something like that for a short period. I don't know. Like, at least Miles still has quite a bit of runway of new characters, and it's actually one of like the newer characters in Marvel that people actually kind of enjoy and like latched onto. So also, it's super scarce. The animation's perfect. So I've always liked that. If 1 million people eventually come to Veve, scarcity won't matter as much as popularity. 1 million people fighting for 8,888 Superman or 600 SR Luke. Numbers matter a bit less if Veve explodes. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, if the numbers explode, yeah, it won't matter as much. But it will be kind of one of those things, because like even Luke has a few different versions of himself, right? Is there like 2 or 3 versions? He's got 3, right? I still think Luke is a Grail. I actually have Luke on my list as a Grail, but we have 4,000 Lukes here. Essentially 900, 1,000 there. Now, I still think the SR is going to do the best, and it's going to go up a lot, but there might be like a handful less sales of SR because I do think there's quite a few people on Veve that are like on the border, right? Let's say you wanted to buy a Todd, right? And you have 0 gems. It's like, all right, you're either gonna have to put gems in the app, sell a bunch of stuff, or you can just buy one of like the cheaper ones or whatever if you really wanted like a Batman for whatever reason. So I guess the lower tier versions, the lower scarcity ones, kind of give people an out. You know, it's not like Superman where it's like there's only one and you got to buy it no matter what. There's no lower tier or like a lower rarity, you know, FA Superman that you can buy. FA overset for sure, except for the first sets on Veve. First sets are all FA sets. Yeah, that's the other thing too, like FA sets, things like that. I think that thing will be... I think things like that will probably be more prevalent like later on, like as Veve kind of matures a bit more. Because to be honest, like as people collect and stuff, like as time goes on, people kind of come up with more and more ways for them to differentiate their sets or their collectibles from everyone else, right? Again, I don't think you can go wrong with going with 3 Todds or going for a set. Like either way, you're good. And in my opinion, as long as you're focusing on like what's semi-popular, what's semi-scarce, you know, what's whatever, for the most part, even if you bought nothing but blue chips, like if you bought nothing but, you know, Hulks, SR Thors, SR Black Panther, SR, like you'll probably still do well, right? SR Deadpool, you'll probably still do fine. Now, are there other collectibles that might go up more or do better? Probably, but like at least you could probably know for decent, you know, for decent certainty, like people are going to pick those up first, right? I recently bought an SR Luke. Nice. Yeah, what's the floor at right now? 500. Wow. He actually... Wasn't there a point where he was like low 2s? For some reason, Stacker's not even showing the other Lukes for some reason. It's fine. We'll use this one. $390. Okay, I must be thinking about something else. So his all-time low was technically $390. So, yeah, there have been some whales running around recently. Like, I know TomTom's been a whale running around. Like, he actually bought, I think, like 5 SR Galactus, like, on stream earlier today. You know, which is not cheap, which is probably cost him, what, 800-900 gems? So, yeah, there's definitely some whales kind of opening up their wallets and buying stuff because they know, you know, we're in a prolonged bottom right now, and things might be looking like they're on the upswing, especially since, you know, we got that news. We could get a new huge IP. I know we're trying to get licensors to go Web3, so. And I got the UR Miles in the 200s. Now it's 460. Dude, that's awesome. Yeah, I kind of wish I bought Miles a bit sooner. He's not like my favorite character, but I know he's extremely popular. I really wanted to pick up the, at the very least, the rare of Miles. And it's still at a pretty decent price at 160, all-time lows, essentially 140. So it's only 15% off from the all-time low. And as Veve, you know, unless a whole bunch of people come into Veve, as more drops happen, liquidity kind of gets sucked out of more and more of these things. And I think people are going to start seeing more and more, you know, the Grails are going to keep running away because people are going to be selling. I'm already doing that. I'm already selling other stuff to kind of buy more Grails myself. What was another Grail? Or let me catch up with chat, and then I'll kind of look at some other stuff I had like mocked up. Slider, the thing with high-end scarcity is you need to have a buyer willing to do so. I think about that. I think about that also with special mints. Lots of different things to consider when making a Grail list. I agree. It's a catch-22 because you can either go with Todd, right? Like if you have a Todd, everyone's trying to get a Todd. Like if you don't have a Todd, you're trying to get one. If you already have one, you're thinking about getting another one. At least I only have one. I have enough to buy one now. I'm kind of waiting for them to go below 300 to possibly pull the trigger again. Because right now he's at like, what, 315? But the thing is about those super scarce ones, though, right? The nice thing is you really only need one buyer. And considering like how, you know, big / small, however you want to view it. You know, some people might think the community is relatively small on VV if you're considering like the greater scheme of things. Like look how many min hunters we already have already on VV. Like we already got some big hitters on comics. Like we have comics in crypto. We have California comics. We have Sleeping comics. Even though Sleeping, I think he mostly goes for, you know, he tries to go for commons and cheaper stuff in the secondary. But from what I've seen before, like if there's something he really wants, like he'll go after it. Like we have actually a lot of like hardcore comic book collectors, and it's like, you know, and that's only a very small handful considering like, you know, worldwide, right? So I think they seem scarce now, but like as more people come on the app, I think it's going to be easier. And again, you know, if you have a very unique one of one mint of something, it's going to take a bit longer to sell it, but you only need one person to find it. You don't need 100 people to buy into the idea that it's valuable. You just need to find one person. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, all that stuff is in consideration into the tier list. Pointing SR Luke, that's a long hold. Yes, sir. VV fans, what's up? It will always be scarcity over FA. Give me platinum moments. Elsa over golden moments. Elsa all day. Yeah, I mean, I will say this. I don't think there's like a wrong way to play this, but I will say FA, in my opinion, is probably the safest, in my opinion. I'll say this, VV fans. If someone mentions Elsa, if someone says, oh, I bought an Elsa today, do they assume it's the platinum version or the FA? Because no one says, oh, I bought the golden moments Elsa, or I bought the platinum moments Elsa. People just say, oh, I bought Elsa. Just a thought. That's what's so fun about VV, these differences in strategy, trying to protect your collection and keep what you think will do best. And that's the thing, like if you're zigging, if you're zagging when everyone's zigging, that could be the play too. I've done that before. So I don't think there's anything wrong with scarcity. It's just, in my opinion, I think FAs, and I think you're right, FAs will probably be easier to sell. There's a much more volume that goes through FAs because everyone's looking at that. But the super scarce ones are the one-offs, like even, you know, perfect example. Wolverine. Like, this is the FA, right? 3,000 mints, 54 gems. But if you look at this, even though it's a different Wolverine, the SR version, 150, like this one's 500 gems. So it's not FA. It is a con exclusive, so it does have a tag. And I think the Platinum Moments Elsa, that was part of like one of the original craft stuff, right? Let me see. And again, difference of opinion doesn't mean one opinion's right or wrong. Or maybe VV fans, you can come back to me in 3 years when all of our stuff, you know, our year or whatever it is, goes parabolic. We can kind of compare the percentages of which one did better than the other. But it's also one of those things where it's, you know, you compare numbers. We're all making our best guess, right? Facts. If you have a Todd, you're already trying to get your second one. Yeah, right? Because I do think it's got too much going for it. I don't want to say it's got too much going. Yeah, but it has a lot going for it. So, I mean, I have one thought. I'm like, all right, should I kind of stack, you know, 150 cheap collectibles? Because even now it's like, God, do I start buying up all the cheap, like, FA Juggernaut comics, FA Sabretooth, kind of more of like the mid-rangey B-tier comics that people have kind of forgotten about. And usually those are like 5,000 to 10,000 editions, maybe a little bit less. Like, all right, do I get 100 of those, or do I just get another Todd, or do I buy an Elsa, or do I buy a, you know, this or that? I think that's the fun part, and I don't think anyone's wrong. This is just my opinion. You know, was this part of a craft, or is this one you just bought? I thought this was like part of a craft or something. Maybe I'm thinking about something else. Maybe I'm thinking like Woody or something like that. I could be wrong. With comics, I've been going back and forth between getting some of these super limited edition comics. We get on these VV comics, or going back and picking up ASM 1 or Fantastic Four number 5. Yeah, so first appearance of oh my gosh, Doctor Doom, going back and forth. So did you see the last video with Corin MC? I got MC to say nicely done. Yeah, I did see that actually. I think I tuned in and then like 4 minutes later he was like, nicely done. Yeah, I love MC. I need to get him on again. I want to get these days back. Here, I'll show you guys. Or I'll just do it. Whoop. Figures, I clicked on the wrong thing. All this. See, these were the days. Is this only oh, this is a live stream. My Collectibles, VV Vibes, Dino Lang, Sleeping Comics, Rob Stuff. Corey was probably somewhere at some point. There was, I don't know if you guys knew this, but there was a time very early in VV where we almost did kind of like a millennial money kind of thing between like me, MC, Corey, and Chris Coffey. Like Chris Coffey was going to be like the crypto guy. Corey was going to be the guy who does all the research about the drops and talks about it and like the artist and all that kind of stuff. I was going to be the market guy and like make like price predictions and how I think it's going to affect the market and things like that. And MC was going to be kind of like the physical collecting, like, is this prevalent? The physical realm, comics, stuff like that. So, you know, because he's ran his own store and all that stuff. So we were almost going to kind of tackle it from a few different angles. I don't know if Rob Stuff was part of that, or maybe he wasn't on YouTube yet at the time. It was like very early. I mean, this was within my first like few weeks of like streaming on YouTube and stuff. So that almost became a thing. And then we talked about it for a while and we didn't know how to like divvy up the money. And then it kind of, none of our schedules lined up and we're just like, all right, let's just do our own thing. So it was close, but maybe one day we'll do that. I think it would be kind of fun. I mean, a day could come like that where, you know, there's a large group of content creators that get together and just talk about a new drop or a new thing every so often. What up, fellas? Yeah, what's up, Doctor Strange? Yeah, I've read your name earlier and I forgot to see it, but yeah, dude, guys, go watch Doctor Strange's video about the new comic drop. I think he's doing a giveaway. I'm not sure how many people have already commented, but if you go over there and check it out, I think you have a pretty good chance of landing it on there. I'm probably going to pass on. I mean, I might just pull the trigger because I'm going to be on Informant's channel tomorrow talking about whatever, but I might pull the lever once. But 641 platinum moments, Elsa versus 12,333 mints, golden moments. The mint count will never justify the FA tag. Yeah, but it still has the tag, you know, and that'll never get removed. And then you also have to think too, right, about the fact is, what if a 3,000 mint Elsa comes out, 100 mint, you know, whatever it is. And that's the other thing too. It's like people have gone, let's see. Did I spell it wrong? Yeah, I did it backwards. It's like this one, Spidey Noir, right? It's worth 5,000 gems because it's, you know, the bottleneck for Marvel Mighties. But what if they come out with a Marvel Mighty and there's like 20 mints, right? All of a sudden that becomes the new thing. And then this will likely, it may or may not go down in value or whatever, right? But I guess my take on FA is that tag will never go away. It'll always be sought after. Now, will it go up in price percentage-wise as much as like the Platinum Moments Elsa? Maybe, maybe not. I'm not sure. But we'll see. I mean, the fact that kind of forgot we had this Elsa. Yeah, see, there's 68 of these in the market. 47 gems on this. It is a lot of mints. Yeah, these golden moments do have a lot of mints. There's 600 here. Do you at least have both, VV fans? As long as you have both and you're happy with it, that's fine. And this is what I like. You know, I actually don't want everyone to do what I'm doing, right? I have my own strategy for like what I'm trying to collect. If you can kind of beat people to the punch with some of these like platinum moments or some of these super scarce things, because I mean, if someone is an Elsa fan, they're gonna want to buy both. And as of right now, platinum Elsa is the most scarce one of them all. So, and this is kind of what I mean by like everyone can win on Veve, right? Like if you know, it's like, all right, this Elsa goes up, you know, 800%, while the golden moments only goes up 500%. You know, I think everyone can win. And then, you know, if you're buying these Elsas, I think you're kind of assuming there's some hardcore Elsa collectors out there, and they're gonna want to buy this, right? I mean, it also looks really good too. I actually kind of forgot it's like a two-tone silver and like an aqua blue or whatever. So, but I'm just giving you the reasons why I like FAs, because it's a tag that can get never taken away. Any future drops that happen, I mean, when they can release 10,000 more Elsas, there's only one that'll have the FA tag. That's just my reasoning for it. But how much is this one, or how many mints is this one? Yeah, this one has 2,000 mints. So even this one is what, 3 times, like 3.5 times the amount as the platinum. So. How's it going, Doctor? Strange. Chilling, fam. Enjoying the vibes. Finally made a live stream. Let's go, dude. Where the hell have you been? The old days? Yeah. Dino would it be a great hype man? Yeah. Dino he was interesting. I do miss it. I know he's making, I kind of stumbled upon his channel at one point. I think he was making like Pokemon content or like pack opening or whatever. That's a hard niche to get into. There's so many people doing like pack opening and even like video games and stuff. But at 10 gems a pop, but 2K editions is a lot to think about. It's 2,000 editions. I honestly forgot about that. It is very scarce. And is this a Scotty Young cover? Is this 10 gems because it's Scotty Young? I mean, in my opinion, I would rather have it be 3,000 mints. Or 2,500 mints and just make it 7 gems. Good Strange, thanks. You? Awesome. Staying busy, let's go. 10 gems, 72 of these. You still doing Pokemon? Yeah, I still have him. I'm still subbed to him, and I still see he's live. I'll jump in there and lurk occasionally for a few minutes, but you know, he's not really talking. He's not really talking about Veve anymore, which is fine. What were some other Grails? Some new Grails. Ooh, this one. All right, this is a new Grail in my opinion. Almost, actually, I think this is more of a flex piece, but we'll see. I'll have to kind of remind myself. Flower Bomber, the one that cost 1 million MCP points to buy. Yeah, so this one has 222 mints, 170. Is this the right one? I don't think it is. There it is. This is the one. Yeah, this is the one. 88 mints. You needed 1 million MCP to make this, or to do it. 5.5K. I think this is, I don't know, is this a flex piece or a Grail? I'm gonna put a poll on it really quick. Change the option. All right, I made the poll. Is it a flex piece or a Grail? And I think that's almost, are those two different things? Where something is so scarce or it's just so out of reach because it was only available to such a limited amount of people. Like this was only available realistically to people that were level 100 or people that have been saving MCP for like 3-4 years, right? Same thing with like Donnie. Like there were so few people on the app that bought it, and I do think a lot of whales like bought it up back then. Where it's like it's one of those things where it's like it was only exposed to so few people, or only so few people actually own it that. You know, is it a flex or a Grail? Not a fan of Noir as far as collecting. Sticking to top tier characters has always worked for me for stacking and for flipping. Yeah, I agree. That's kind of I think we're on the same page, Pasternak, for a lot of stuff. Let's see. Slider, that is a nice Scotty Young, but for 10 gems, I'll probably skip it. Just buy the rare if it's a decent price in the market. I think people are going to put the Scotty Youngs around 10. And if it's around 10, like if you're willing to pay 10 anywhere, like risk it, like just buy the rare. It might hang out like around 12 gems or something like that. Again, it really depends on like if it sells out or maybe literally only 1,000 people buy it and it just stays at 1,000 until it almost gets burned. Then if he announces it and then like 200 more get bought. But trading event this weekend with Disney Pinnacle, let me know when you get an account. I'll make a 3-for-1 trade for you, dude. That would be awesome. No, I did make a Disney Pinnacle account. I don't know if it was yesterday or 2 days ago, but I also have Disney Plus, so I claimed the free thing and all that stuff. But yeah, if you fancy, I'd be down to. I need to get in and do some trading or whatever this weekend. It still took me a while to like navigate the app and figure out, what the heck I was even doing, but it seems pretty intuitive. Flower Bomber's like one of those one of ones. I think I kind of agree. It seems like a lot of people, well, we have one vote, but one person thinks it's a flex piece. Yeah, I think this is one of those flex pieces where, I might make that like a different category, like above Grail on, where did my YouTube video go? Oh, I guess I closed it. Oh, well. Let me actually open it up again. All right, what was another one that I had as a Grail or like a newer Grail? Okay, so this one, I think this one's another flex piece. I don't think it's a Grail, but I do think it's more of a flex piece. And again, I think this is new from even when I made the thing. Or, I think this became a flex piece in a way, which is the self-made. I don't think a lot of people know the artist, but I think people like the artwork, the name, what it stands for. And I do think quite a few whales actually do own this. It's kind of a, self-made, you kind of built yourself up on your own kind of thing. Like the messaging is really cool. So in a weird way, I think this went from all right, whatever. It's just scarce to now it's kind of becoming a flex piece. Is that like a flex piece price? Kinda. I think another criteria for a flex piece is that it's got to be pretty expensive to go after. You can't have a flex piece be 10 gems. That's not the case. But I think this self-made thing has actually kind of become a flex piece because the VV community, right? It doesn't. Is it FA technically? It's a con exclusive because it's not really like a character, but it has a tag, even though it's con exclusive. It's super rare. It's like a VV thing. It doesn't have the FA tag. It doesn't need it. But so I do think things can kind of ebb and flow in and out of certain criteria. Wolverine, yeah. So I did have Wolverine on there. Now, I'm biased. I think Wolverine's a Grail, but there are 3,000 of him. Because, if you look on Grail, here, I'm going to do it right now. Give me a list of the most popular Marvel characters. Zoom in a little bit, too. And I've noticed this too, that it's the top 3 every single time, and probably most lists, it's Spider-Man, Iron Man, Wolverine. Most lists that I look on Google, whether it's articles or whatever it is, Wolverine's usually at least top 5. It just depends, right? Some people put Captain America. I think the people that are more into the MCU will put, Captain America and some of those other ones above Wolverine. But Wolverine's made a lot of appearances in movies and Deadpool. Even Deadpool is up there pretty high, but there's just so many mints of Deadpool. It also has the Christmas theme, and some people may or may not like that. Kind of depends. So I'm debating on whether to putting like Wolverine in like Grail or like blue chip. Mostly because there is a more scarce version of it right up there, but and I think one thing that does help with certain collectibles, and it's a minor thing, but I think it does help value add, is like if it is made of like very high quality, like Miles Morales, like the SR is just above and beyond everyone. This one's also very high quality. You can like take his mask on and off. There are 3,000 editions of this, which is like less than Hulk, less than a lot of other characters. I think there's enough demand for this. It doesn't really have a Grail price, but I think this is gonna be one of those. I'm surprised like someone hasn't swept these already, to be honest. But again, I do think people put a different value on kind of like Veve fans, right? Some people might want to go for the. I mean, I like the brown suit a lot. If I could afford this, I would buy it, but. Part of me is just like, I'd rather just buy 10 FA Wolverines instead of this. But this one is super scarce. It's almost like Grail is just like, all right, this thing is going to be undeniably chosen by most people that are a fan of this IP, you know. Clayton Crane is the best artist on Veve. Baldari is more popular on Veve than she is in the real world. Clayton Crane. I haven't heard of him, but I'll have to check out his work. We'll see. I mean, I'm sure it's already on Veve, right? Yeah, you already said on Veve, so. With very limited items, they don't get much traction because they're so limited that they are almost out of people's reach. So they're kind of forgotten. I agree. I think that's the case. I said part of the reason why I like the FA tag is because usually when someone's referencing a collectible, that's kind of typically what they mean. And if you're trying to reference something that's other than a FA, you have to add, you have to kind of explain it, or there's like a one degree of separation from, what most people are thinking about. Wolverine is a Grail for sure. 3,000 Wolverines is not a lot to go around over the next few years. I agree. I think I am going to put him. And like I said, when you look him up online, he's pretty much like top 3. In some lists, he might be like 4 or something like that. But like he's usually top 3 on most like Marvel's like most popular lists. Wolverine's a Grail in my opinion, especially with the X-Men coming back to the MCU in a big way. Yeah, I agree. I don't know if like Wolverine himself will come back. I mean, I hope he does. I mean, they'll have to get a different actor or whatever. FA is all that matters. That comes from 35 years of collecting sports cards. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that kind of goes for, sports cards, comics. I'm trying to think of like what else. I mean, it's for the most part, like the first appearance of something, Pokemon cards is like the first appearance or the first thing of it is what ties up the most value. Now, Pokemon's a little bit different because there's new series and new packs and stuff like that. And sometimes like newer cards can be worth a lot, but when most people think about like, oh, what's the most expensive Pokemon card? They think of the, first edition holographic Charizard from the first, base set. All right, what was another one I had? Oh yeah, Vader wasn't even out yet, I think, when I did this video. Like Vader wasn't out yet when I did that old video. What about this one? Kind of curious where you guys are leaning on this. I think I'm going to close this poll talking about the Flower Bomber. I think most people think it's a flex. The Stan Lee SR. Right now it's at 68 gems. There's 1,000 editions. Now there's quite a few versions of Stan Lee. I actually have this one. And I'm kind of surprised. This one actually had... I don't know if this genuinely has 7,740 editions. Because this is one of those weird ones where I think you only got if you like got the jacket or something like that. And like that was the most they had available. But I don't think there's actually 7,000 of these in circulation. Is that something I can like find on Stacker? Well, that's not good. Hello? All right, let me change something. What's going on here? King cameos. That's weird. It won't let me look anything up on Stacker. It just kind of keeps getting me an error. Now I will say this, and no promises. I've noticed something, not always, but typically. Yo, Execu Speak, what's up, dude? Let's get it. Almost 40 months. Oh my god, that's awesome, dude. Thank you so much. I am actually waiting for someone to come back from a trip because they're helping me with like my Discord. And once that's done, I'm going to release my Discord. And I do want to have these kind of talks, run ideas by you guys, things like that in the Discord for like future videos and that kind of stuff. But even new emojis and all that. But dude, Execu Speak, thank you so much. 40 months, almost 40 months next month. But thanks for hanging out. We're talking about Grails right now. I think the SR Stanley is a Grail, right? Like him and Walt, like just these very extremely iconic real life people that have made such an influence for literally generations. Kind of hard to not pick it up. Now, there's a bunch of other Stanleys you can buy that are also still FA. Now, is that FA or C? Like con exclusive. Okay, so it's first appearance. Did these other ones also have FA? Okay, yeah, they all have the first appearance tag. So it does take a little bit of liquidity out of the SR, but at the same time, I think it's just so popular and scarce enough to where it is a Grail in my opinion. All right, what's the next one? Interestingly enough, I don't think this one's a Grail. This one might be like a low blue chip. Thanos was not released when I made my last video. So SR Thanos, I think also people forget there's only 1,000 of these. Yeah, there's 2,100 total editions, but there's 1,000 that have been burned. I think because the crafting, not enough people crafted it or whatever. But I think this one is, I don't know if it's a Grail, but it's definitely a blue chip just for the fact that, I mean, honestly, if Veve came way earlier and like, you know, this got released like the year before Endgame or maybe even before, gosh, what's the other one that happened before that one? Infinity War, you know, I think Thanos would do way better. But like I said, the whole story of Thanos and the whole Infinity War and Endgame, like that whole saga's been told, it's done, right? Thanos' popularity is probably not going to go up for a while, but who knows? Some people might really like him, or like I said, those people that are a bit younger that grew up, you know, having Thanos as like the main villain of them growing up, and all of a sudden that becomes their favorite collectible, right? I still think Stanley's a borderline Grail. So you're putting it in blue chip status, huh? Blue chip, like blue chip, borderline. I'll put him on the like lower end of Grail status potentially. Totally agree. Awesome. Sounds good. I'm still about the OG Grails, Todd, SR Spidey partners, but that's definitely not all of them. SR Miles is a big one. SR Marvel one. Yeah, I agree. Not really talking about the comics too much because I feel like those are obvious. Like you already know what comics, and then like any variations of that comic, especially on the higher end, like the SR, people are gonna want it. Infinity Wars, thanks, Slider. By the way, not sure if your intro into sports cards still, but still started selling them on Whatnot. Got an NHL too. Oh, nice. Drop something. JKRB wants to know about Venom. What do you guys think about Venom? So, long story short, I'm putting Thanos in like blue chip. He's a solid villain. There's actually not that many of them. There's only 1,000. So that's kind of where I'm putting in Venom. Oh, we actually put on collectible here. God, you got to scroll down kind of far for this Venom stuff. It's kind of hard to find Venom in the this section. Gosh, what is Venom? The quality's very high. What are the mint numbers? 1,000. See, and this is what I mean. Like, this thing is borderline Grail. Like, if you start throwing all this stuff into Grail status, you start getting into like, you start having like 45 different collectibles being a Grail. This is like borderline Grail or very high blue chip, in my opinion. Probably a Grail. Just because the mints are so low. It's also probably like what? Top 2. It's like a top 2 villain for Spider-Man. I'm just going to repeat the word popularity. Who cares? Give me a list of the most popular Spider-Man villains in order of popularity. Interesting. So they put Doc Ock above Venom. I don't know if I agree with that, but... Ranked by popularity as of 2025. All right. That's the other thing, too. All these villains. Actually, we have a lot of Spider-Man villains already on Veve. Green Goblin, Doc Ock, Venom, Kingpin, Mysterio. We don't have Lizard. We do have Carnage. We do have Rhino, but he's like a Marvel Mighty. No Sandman. Sandman would be kind of difficult to make, I would imagine. And like no Electro. So we do have a lot. I'm related to Thanos on Veve, but I don't think you see anything close to the original MCU through Endgame ever again. It was such a cool thing to experience. That is very true. He was... Yeah, I mean, that launched Thanos into just another level of a villain. Obviously, most people probably even heard of Thanos, or only the comic book fans knew of Thanos. I mean, we could probably just talk about villains now, because I even put a couple villains on here. In my opinion, so I actually did look at a list of like MCU villains, like Marvel villains. Actually, let me ask what you guys think about Venom. I'm going to put up a Venom poll, and in the meantime, we're going to look at some other villains. I almost put Blue Chop. All right, I put up a poll. Is Venom a Grail or a solid blue chip? Like solid, I mean, almost on the upper echelon of blue chip. He's in one of those two categories, in my opinion. We'll look at Loki. Obviously, he's had like a lot of screen appearances, had his own show, all that stuff. He's being sold for like 3 gems right now. The price does run up a little bit. 8,000 mints. 1 burn. Now, 1 burn might make the difference. Now, 1 burn might make the difference. But Loki, I don't know. I do think there is quite a few mints. And honestly, between the show and all the other stuff, like if he was popular enough, I think people on Veve would have probably bought more of him if he was a bit more popular in real life. I think he's one of those characters where most people are like, oh, it would be nice to have him in my collection, versus like, I gotta have him. There might be a handful of people, but I do think Venom is one of those, potentially. All right, we got 6 votes so far. People are saying Venom. Looks like we got like 1 vote for Grail and then 5 votes for solid blue chip. All right, all right. I still have a common Marvel one that I got for 5 gems, still up 13 gems after all this time. Yep, you rode that thing all the way up till, gosh, dude, I literally think the comments were going for like 700 gems. Even though I think it was only for like a couple days. But there's a point where like comments were going for like 700 gems, and then obviously they pulled back. So yeah, dude, you got a generational entry. That's what you got on that. I feel like Venom is really popular with the younger generation. Is he? I don't know. To be honest, I don't have any like younger cousins, or I have friends with like or I don't really have too many friends with like little kids and stuff like that. But I guess it makes sense. I mean, there have been quite a few movies with like, you know, Eddie Brock and Venom and all that kind of stuff more recently. I don't think I've seen any of those. To be honest, I have not seen any of those Sony movies, and I probably should. I haven't seen any Venom movies. J. Kirby says Venom blue chip. All right, all right. I think I agree. I think he's on the very top end of blue chip easily. We'll go ahead and end the poll. By far the worst. I do remember that. Yeah, but I mean, like all the other ones that came out like after that. Like I haven't watched any other movies that had Venom in it, like after Spider-Man 3. By far the worst thing Venom did to Peter was make him jazz dance in Spider-Man 3. Terrible. I'm getting a little tired because I woke up at 4:30 a.m. this morning to watch Dan. How big do you think Luke is as a character? I know everyone loves Vader, but how many love Luke? That's a good question. I mean, me personally, if I had enough money to buy Luke, there's just so many other things I would rather buy than Luke. But I think there's enough boomers out there that like Luke, you know, that have money and all that stuff and either want to collect it for themselves or their kids or whatever. Yeah, I think there's enough. I think he's popular enough, and everyone's heard of Luke. That's the other thing too. Just like how many people actually know of Luke? It's like, yeah, pretty much everyone. I know probably the newer generation. Like I was kind of like smack in the middle. Actually, I mean, I was relatively young when episode 1 came out. So in a way, like I like grew up with Anakin, right? That was kind of like my like Luke in a way, and something with like Obi-Wan and all that stuff. But that's a good question. I never. And even if you don't love Luke, I don't think you have to love a character in order for you to buy them, right? Especially like Luke is just a good investment too. Like I don't love the character, but there's just a lot of other things that I would buy. And if I did have enough, like maybe I'd get Luke. Luke would probably be like the 15th or 20th thing like I would buy on my list. Yes, I voted Grail. Stop shaming me. I don't even own him. Oh, Venom? I don't know. It's anonymous, so you just oust yourself. I mean, it's debatable. I mean, I was even arguing putting Venom in Grail because there's only 1,000. And he's arguably like a top 3 villain for Spider-Man. Like if you look at the other villains, like if you look at Doc Ock, have to spell it out. Oh, it's O-C-K. I remember now. I keep putting like O-C-T. O-C-K. Doc Ock. That's how you spell it. For some, I was spelling like D-R for doctor. Like, I feel like there's like 7 different ways you can spell Doc Ock, Dr. Octopus, Dr. Octavius. Doctor. What's the SR for this going for? 55 gems. There's 1,200 of these, which is actually a little bit on the lower end, surprisingly. Because of the burn. How many is that? what is that, like 1,180-ish or something like that, if I had to guess. So it's almost, I mean, this thing is almost at Venom level scarcity-wise. It's just that potato dumpling Buddha body weird squat he's got going on right now. Like, without the arms, Doc Ock is the least intimidating villain I think Spider-Man has probably fought. The bowl cut. The dressing up like Toad from X-Men. All right. I think this is what's also... yeah, there's 5,000 of these if you include the burn. Yeah. I think that's part of the reason why this might be so cheap, because, again, like, if there was only an SR Doc Ock and there was not, like, a red version or a uncommon version and there was literally, like, 1,600 of these, like, this would probably be, like, north of 80 or 90 gems right now. But because it's not... I still have an SR Luke. Would love for him to bounce back. But, yeah. Spend whatever, 500, 1,000 gems on Luke, or get a couple of Todds. Don't be like me, folks. Yeah, that's kind of... I'm trying to get... I can't afford a second Todd right now. I'm just waiting for him to go below 300. I do think, like, there's a lot of exciting things happening for Veve around the corner, but at the same time, I do think there could either be a bit of a, you know, lull before, like, a huge announcement, and kind of people kind of get bored, or they're trying to accumulate gems for whatever reason. Or if there is a big announcement, those people that do have a lot of Todds, sometimes they just kind of floor one to have enough gems for the next drop or whatever it is. As far as blue chips that I thought of would be Grail status by now. Soups, Golden Woman, Iron Man, really thought they would both have more traction than they got. Yeah, Superman, I still think he's a Grail. I mean, just from like the name alone and the recognition, I just hope DC or whatever, like, kind of turns around. Unfortunately, like, there's just been a lot of, like, bad DC Superman movies, or ones that have not been as great of a caliber as, like, Marvel. So I do think, like, that's a big thing that's, like, holding it back in general. Superman looks really good, too. It's, like, one of, like, the earlier collectibles that are just like, man, that thing's actually got good quality. I mean, at least the reflection on the suit and everything. Looking at it now, between like the face and like the hands and stuff, obviously it's not like the newer drops. What was the other villain we were talking about? Where is it? I don't know. But another one, this is just a normal like MCU or just a Marvel villain, is Dr. Doom. Did I have him in that video? Oh yeah, I haven't pulled up the video yet. I haven't shown you this execu speak because I think he just joined. I said this was my tier list video from 2021. So this was the tier list video from 2021. Can I zoom in more? Let's do this. Yeah, it's like I have Spidey 2099 up here. That's like Givenchy collectible up here. Like I think most of these aren't even on the list anymore. Like Woody isn't here. Bread Cat isn't here. Dragon Girl isn't here. Whatever this Mickey one isn't here. I think I try to grab, if I remember right, I try to grab like an FA or like a semi-important collectible from like each like series or potentially like set at the time. I think the Mickey one was relatively like a newer one, and people were excited because like, oh, it's whatever band Mickey, and that was really popular, 60 years ago or something like that. But yeah, this is, to be honest, this list still holds up. Yeah, it does. So the top end still does. Partners, Spidey, Todd. Now, we talked about it earlier. Like, does Rizzo still stay up here? Because I'll be honest, this is what I did. I was going to put this in my tier list video. Like literally just this picture. And just lump them all together. Like in the tier list video, like I don't think I could put like Rizzo and then the other ones. Like I think all three of these are together because they're all FE. Todd is the FA. All three of these are FE. They're all part of the same set. It's the very first set that's ever existed on Veve. So it's like I think kind of like, in my opinion, putting all these together in one thing. Like I don't know if Rizzo solo by himself is a Grail. I think just strictly the scarcity of him is kind of what carried a lot of the weight of the value, and that was it. Like early Veve was just scarcity. That's all that mattered. And I think as Veve has kind of grown and like we've seen what, you know, we have I don't know, 27 different Batmans. We have 3 different Elsas. We have 2 different Wolverines. We have 3. It's like it's only a matter of time before we start just getting more and more versions of kind of the same collectibles. So I kind of just put them all together, and those are all blue chip in my opinion. Because whether you're just buying them, because they also do have that like error, quote unquote error FE tag, right? Like no other collectible that's like, I don't know what you would call it, like a character that has the FE tag. So I think that part also makes them very unique. So that's why I kind of just grouped them all together. I think Rizzo's obviously on the higher end of that 3, but not above Todd. I do on Doc Ock, definitely a Grail. At least the one you own, right? Once you sell it, it is a bottom of the barrel thing. But yeah, I remember I had this like XL Gold Ape thing, the Flash. I had like the lenticular cards up here too. Like I don't know if those are like Grails. I mean, it's not even a Grail. Obviously, I have it in A tier. Oh yeah, Steamboat Willie. What do you guys think about Steamboat Willie? Unfortunately, that is a collectible that is literally down 99.3%. Because it was at 10K at one point. It's very easy because you can just round the number. Yeah, 99.3. Or 99.26, let's call it. True, but Doc Ock is like a professor who made some arms to help him do experiments. They were grafted onto him, broke his mind, and that's why he was always supposed to look pretty nice. That is true. That is true. New DC comic release. What if Superman bad? Yeah, number 5,800,000 DC problem. That's the other thing too. Like DC, they're just rinsing and repeating like the same like 4 or 5 people over and over. Really, it's the same 3, but sometimes they expand it. It's just like Superman, Batman over and over and over. And then offshoots of those characters. At least the Grails and most of the blue chips. Yeah, I agree. Steamboat Willie. Does it still have the... Yeah, this one has no tag. This is... I'll still say it today. This is one of the better collectibles with no tags. This is a blue chip now. I mean, there's almost 7,000 of these. There's also, 11,000 other versions of this. I think I'm going to put this in A tier now. Like if I had to make the list now, which I will do probably in the next few days, if not week. And I think I'm going to talk about it more. If you guys don't know, I'm going to be on Informant stream tomorrow morning. So on the drop, I might do a little bit of Grail talk, but I mostly just kind of wanted to talk about Grails and stuff just to kind of get some ideas from you guys. Like, is this actually a Grail? Is this, I'm going to make the list, even then, should I do some flex piece stuff? Because even then, earlier, Executive Speaker, we were talking about like the Flower Bomber one, like this one. There's like 88 of these. It's worth 5.5K. It's based off of, dude, I'm totally blanking. Banksy, right? It's like, all right, this is, it's not so much a Grail as this is just like a flex piece like this. Donnie, and I think there was another one too that we kind of agreed. It's just like, the 007, like the DB5 with like 7 mints. Like, that's just a flex piece because just so few people had access to it. I think Steamboat Willie's a blue chip overall, but Disney fans would probably say a Grail. So if it came to en masse, that could change things, yeah. That's true. There's just so many of them, though. Right? I think there's like... Let me double check. Because I think you do have to take the mints into, like, consideration. All right, so this one had like 6. We need that. 20 or 18,000 commons and 14,000 uncommons. So we have 35,000. So we have about 40,000 total Steamboat Willies total. Are there any collectibles with that many? Not including comics. I know there's comics with like 60,000, but I'm talking like just like any collectible. Like maybe Black Panther? Collectibles. Like how many commons are there? Yeah, there's a lot of these. 22,000 commons. I don't know if you guys can see this. 18,000. Yeah, this is well beyond that. Yeah, there's just like too many of these. Like I can't even call the SR like these ones, like this Thor, even Captain America. Like if you look at Steve Rogers, the common one, and this is the other thing too. It's like now we have 3 different Steve Rogers. 776 got burned, so hardly any. Yeah, 29,000 Steve Rogers, 4 gems. FA Cap should be a blue chip, but he's mining. I think there's literally 30k of him. Yeah, there is. Yeah. Oh, it's actually interesting you just mentioned that. Scarcity plus some points equals Grail is what I was taught back in the day. If it doesn't have both, then it might be a blue chip, not a Grail. Oh, what's up, Tucson? Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, I think that's the other thing too. I was trying to come up with like actual criteria, you know, for what is considered a Grail, right? I made like a short list. There's one like undeniable popularity, right? Like if you just ask some random person on the street, do you know who Captain America is? Like probably 8 people out of 10 are going to know who Captain America is at the very least, right? Scarcity, important tags, like FAFE, Veve historical or community significance. So I'm trying to think of like another criteria, but I feel like most Grails should have at least like 3 of the 5. Like if something doesn't have 3 of the 5, it's probably a blue chip, or if it is like a Grail for whatever reason, it's for like a really unusual like circumstance. I don't think price plays a small part in it, but I still think something can be cheap and be a Grail. Yeah, what other ones did I have on the list? Are there any newer... Are there any newer collectibles that have probably happened that are considered like Grails now? I think this one's a solid blue chip because it is a top villain for X-Men, and I'm a X-Men fan, but I think a lot of people are sleeping on this one too. Magneto. I think a lot of people forgot this one actually got a burn. And there's, yeah, just like Venom, just like some of the other ones, like there's only 1,000 of these. There's actually 1,100 of these, almost exactly. And I'm pretty sure, let's ask Rock. Give me a list of the most popular Marvel villains. Thanos, Loki, Magneto. Put Magneto. I don't think this does it in order necessarily, but I think Magneto's up there. I mean, it's less mints than Doctor Doom. It's about the same mints as the SR Thano. Way less mints than Loki. Ooh, I forgot about Red Skull. Kingpin. Yeah, do you know what? I kind of forgot about Red Skull. Yeah, dude, this is 35 gems. This is kind of why I was afraid to make the Grail video, because I feel like if I post it and I really like remind people of the mint numbers that are left and like the importance of it, and some people might not like the cell shading, or some people would rather buy Venom or a bunch of other collectibles instead. But I think Magneto, he's pretty good. That's a lot of mints, but how many of those are locked in bot accounts that dropped during that time? That is something to think about also, as we'll come back into the market. Yeah, there's some early collectible. I do think like stuff like the common Spider-Man, right? Like, wasn't there a rumor that like literally half of them are in like random bot accounts or accounts that like Veve took a hold of because they thought there were bots or something like that. So it's hard to say. I mean, it's kind of hard to put that in the analysis because like I really don't know how many are locked up, or like, okay, is every old collectible that's semi-popular locked up in like a bajillion bot accounts? Like maybe, unless there's a way you can like literally count through all the accounts and see if they were active and stuff like that. But look at the drop date, February 2022. We really thought we had made it, but it was right before we had found out about bot accounts and fake gems. Yeah, there was kind of three things that happened that really hurt. Those two things: bot account, fake gems. Also, you know, Veve, I don't think it was malicious or like bad or anything like that. I think they just might not have had the right tools, or maybe they're just counting it incorrectly. But I could have sworn, like, I thought Veve was telling us that like we were getting thousands of new users a day. I don't know if it was a week or whatever it was, but I could have sworn Veve, like, I thought there was a handful of times, like during like December, January, February, it's like, oh yeah, we got a lot of people from, you know, like the 12 days of Veve and that kind of stuff. Dude, that first 12 days of Veve back in 2021 was awesome. It's kind of hard to pull it up on Veve, but it's pretty easy to do on my NFT tracker, because you really don't have to go very far to find the first all right, so this is like November. It's coming up. I think this is when Voltron, if I remember right, like Voltron was like one of our, I definitely know it was during for the 12 days of Veve. I don't think, no, this was its own drop. This was part of DC Artist Alley, which I don't think was part of Christmas. Or you know what? Videos, old. 12 days of Veve. Dude, it's wild going back to these prices. Or like videos. Okay, they didn't give us any information. Dude, I was looking at, more recently I've been looking at, I mostly looked at my old videos because I was trying to find like, oh, what's my old Grail video like? And like, dude, when I'm talking prices in some of these videos, I remember literally saying, I'm like, oh, people are overlooking Joker because he's only at 3,000 gems and Todd is at 5 or something like that. I'm like, okay, well, I think the first drop, okay, the first drop was Coca-Cola, then Deadpool? I thought Voltron was part of the drop. Labbits. I could have sworn this first Voltron was definitely part of the Christmas drop, for sure. So there's Voltron, first appearance, Deadpool, first appearance, Coca-Cola, first time we've ever had Coca-Cola, I believe. So that was a huge deal. We got Steamboat Willie. We had the Labbits. Gru. We had like 5 or 6 FAs that first Christmas. I remember that, at least that was my first like 12 days of Veve Christmas thing. And I remember that one was awesome. Like snow globes were new. We had like Deadpool. Did Steamboat Willie come out during Christmas? I think so. Or are these not in like exactly the right order? I don't know. Mark D, what's up, dude? Word. Rizzo Grail. We'll see. Well, you know what? That's why I'm gonna make the post public. When I do my tier list, I'm gonna do what I did like last time, where I'm just gonna allow people to use the template, and it's gonna have all the stuff at the bottom. So if people want to reorganize things, they can. But I like Magneto. I picked him up, and Professor still would like Kingpin and Juggernaut. Yeah. Jugs gotcha. If you know what that's from, let me know. Jugs gotcha. Yeah, Magneto, Kingpin. What's Kingpin doing right now? I think Kingpin is... He had that one show about him, right? I haven't watched it. But I heard the actor that plays him or whoever's in that show is like very good. How many Kingpins are there? Yeah, dude, there's only 800 Kingpins. If you really look at it. Yeah, there's only 800. Going for 30 right now. I do think people are sleeping on some of these villains. This is why I do think these are almost like too cheap. Almost. But then again, I could see Kingpin going down to like 2025, given enough time. And that's the hard thing. It's like, all right, Kingpin's undervalued, but then we release more villains or more interesting characters, right? What if we get like a really sick-looking Scorpion for Spider-Man, or we get a really sick-looking Electro or Sandman? Like, there's a lot of like really good Spider-Man. I mean, the nice thing about Kingpin, he's kind of like he's a villain for both Daredevil and Spider-Man, and I'm sure other characters too. But I think they were just counting the account registrations at the time. I agree. I don't think Veve was in on it. Yeah, I don't think they were in on it. I think some people thought they were. They're like lying to us, but like I think that's just the numbers they were giving us and like the way they kind of analyzed it was just not correct. But I think once they found out there was bot accounts and there was like a lot of malicious stuff going on, obviously they tried to correct it as fast as they could. Those were crazy times. Things would pump in the middle of the night and wake up to things like, yeah, exactly. I remember there was just one night. I remember when Steamboat Willie came out and the ultra rare was like 1,500 or like 2,000, and people were like, this is way too low. Like, this is like the first appearance of like Mickey ever in like media history, like on like the film and all that kind of stuff. Like, even though it doesn't have the, like the FA tag. And I remember that was like a big, talk of like contention or whatever. Like, oh, is it FA or not? And I remember, I think it was after like NFT Pirates made a video with like Veve Magic and a bunch of other people that were just like, not trying to like pump it up, but just talked about like the significance of it. And then like the next day or like 2 days later, went to like, all right, 5,000, 7,000, 8, 9, 10. I'm like, dude, this thing is just running. Is the same thing going to happen again? Maybe, maybe not. We still really don't know how many kind of fake or malicious gems were pumped into the market. So, and I think a lot of prices were exacerbated too, because a lot of people were doing trades, right? So people weren't actually like burning gems to like buy things, right? People were just trading. So like a lot of people just had a lot of gems on hand, and if they absolutely had to buy something, like, okay, they would. But because you could kind of trade and 2-for-1 things and do this and that, yeah, it was pretty crazy. Rizzo, yeah. Everyone will want that first set on Veve. I'm sticking to it. It's the only set I hold long term. Yeah, dude. If there was a set to hold, it's the first one. And I don't think you're. Now, is everyone gonna want set one? That's more of a thing where like people are invested in like the historical significance of Veve, because I think there's gonna be a lot of different collectors, right? There's going to be some people that are just here for like FAs, their favorite characters. And there's also going to be here that aren't really bought into like the historical significance of Veve or this drop or, Donnie and this and that and thing. And I think that first set is obviously important for Veve, but you can't go wrong with the first set that was ever on Veve. And plus, it's a very unique set, right? Has an FA and triple FE. No other set has that, and it's also almost like an error print set. I really wish Veve just kept everything the way it was. I remember when they did that FE change. It's just like it's kind of fun. Leave it as it is. Just call it an error and like, hey, the first year and a half of Veve, they, you know, minted things a certain way with FE tag. But after this date, it was just this from now on. And I do agree, it would probably kind of confuse people in the long run. But yeah, there's not really, that's the only thing on Veve that's kind of like an error print. I'm sure there's other ones too, but Joker's the lowest price for what I consider a Grail. Hard agree. I was waiting for someone else to say it because I've been shilling that guy for a long time. I bought a few more of him. I think I'm only at like 4 or something like that. Yep, he's at 33 gems right now. I remember when he was 22, 25. I bought a couple down there. I bet you guys forgot about Penguin. I did buy a Penguin for actually pretty darn cheap. Yeah, he's at 40 right now. And I think I managed to get one for like 20. Yeah, I got this one for 21. Same thing with Harley. Harley also has 7,500 mints. I think Harley's actually... Harley's more popular than Penguin, in my opinion. I think she's been in enough movies. Obviously, I think her popularity kind of died out more recently, but I think she's been popular enough, and I think this is another one that's kind of underrated. Now, Grail status, no, I would put her in blue chip, probably on the low end of blue chip. But I do think she is popular enough that people are gonna want to buy her, or people that are just like Batman / DC fans, just in general, like they're gonna kind of want to get all of them together. I knew like 5 to 6 gem dealers at the time that were doing 40 to 60 cent gems. I never bought any, but if I had to do it all over again, that would have been easy W. Yeah, there were some people that they didn't even, they took that deal and just didn't buy gems. They were just like, all right, I'm just gonna buy 5,000 gems and just wait till cash out. You know, even if there's a 10% fee to kind of cash everything out, like that's just free profit. I think there's quite a few people that did that. It's not even like they did it and like bought a collectible and like rode it all the way down. Like they just bought the gems and just did nothing with it. I have a question about the blue metallic David and Dan. Do you see them as Grail? I did bring up the metallic. In my opinion, I think David is a Grail borderline flex piece. Like, I think there's like Grail and there's like flex piece like above it. The fact that there's only 88 of them, he's at 1,500 gems. I think it's an easy Grail, but the question is like, is it, I think in like a year, it's like, all right, now this thing is just a flex piece because it's, you know, it's going to be thousands of gems, right? We mentioned it earlier. It's almost like having the first and most scarce version NFT of like Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk or Steve Jobs. It's like, all right, if you think Veve is going to be this giant household name, you know, you're going to want the first version of him. Now, I do own a David, not a blue one, but I do own like the cheaper, I think it's like a common or uncommon version of him for the most part. As for Dan is just cheaper because, I mean, he's just been doing a lot of work on the back end. Obviously, he's important in Veve, but it's not the same thing as like David being like the face of Veve. He's the one that really kicked a lot of stuff off. Because I think Dan, yeah, he's going for 150. So like David is going for, at least for now, 10 times the amount floor wise. So I think if you like Veve and want to complete the whole set, go for it. It's almost like it's a bit different because I was going to say like Rizzo and Todd in a way, but like Rizzo has like way less mints, so that's kind of what carries a lot of the value. Like Dan and David have the same amount of mints at 88, so both significant. But it's you know, if someone is going to be buying these, like they'll probably think David first, and if they can't buy it, maybe Dan, and if they're at that point not sold, they might just get something else. I don't know. Didn't something happen like that with the lenticular cards, FA to FE? Did that happen? Maybe. Now, I will say the lenticular cards, I am making a video for new users that have 10 gems. To be honest, I'm telling them to avoid the store unless it's like a very good comic or whatever. It's like, okay, whatever, shoot your shot. But if you're going on Veve, like there's way too many good collectibles below like 5 or 6 gems that are usually like animated, have a lot of stuff going for it, and are really cool. It's like, I don't know. I don't like the idea of a new user jumping on Veve, latest drops, going for an Edge of Spider-Verse #1. They land an uncommon, and their 10 gems instantly turns into like 2.5 gems. And they're like, wait, what happened? Right? Versus, if you go to the market, you can get the... is it Lend? How do you spell lenticular? If I do, oh, I think it's friend. If I type in friends, it should show up. It's like Mickey and Friends, because I don't actually think the word lenticular's in it. That's where I mess up. Like the word lenticular is not even in the. Maybe I should have done Mickey instead. All right, here we go. Like you can get a Mickey card for 6 gems. Minnie is going for 4.5. I think Daisy's going for like the same amount too, like 4 or 5. Put a load. Like like this thing is. All right, it's going for 7 a bit more, but it's like if you're like a Mickey Mouse fan, it's like, and you have 10 free gems, it's like, dude, get this. It's lenticular, has the 3D effect, gold trim, music. Arguably, I mean, it pretty much is animated, right? So it's like, this is, I feel like this kind of stuff is going to sell people on like actually putting in money. And like, I still believe, I mean, people are actually getting 10 free gems. Before I said, I think every new user should get like a free, like, some sort of like like some sort of like Veve licensed like comic or like pamphlet that they can actually just practice with AR, like one collectible and one comic. They can just practice with AR. They can't sell it, but like every new user just gets this collectible or whatever it is just to say they have it. You know, it's like a newcomer thing. There's that, and then there's also, gosh, there's some other ones too. Floor Max 5. Yeah, it's like you can get Boba Fett. Like ideally, like I would hope to try and help people to get like 2 to 5 collectibles. You know, and there's a ton of dollar comics too on the app as well. Yeah, the On Guard. There's the Voltrons. You can get Punisher, so you can get Punisher and what's it called? Punisher and Boba Fett for less than 10 gems. And there's a bunch of cheaper ones too. Like if we go to the cheapest collectibles. I mean, this is mostly stamps and stuff. But you can get a Groot. Dude, these are super cheap too. You can get this whole set of Disney villains for like 10 gems. You can get Jafar, Queen. This is the same, or these are 2 different queens, duh. This is the Sleeping Beauty queen, and this is like the other one. Alice in Wonderland, right? So you can get what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, I think it's 11 gems. 3, 10. Yeah, it's a little over, it's probably 11 gems to get all 4 of those. But it's like, you know, if you like the Disney villains, you can pretty much almost afford all of them outright for free. I think the Coca-Cola can, just because of the cool animation. I mean, though probably a lot of people don't like the Starlight can. The Finn Wiggles. This one's animated. Yep, Steamboat Willie was released while I was on my way to a Christmas dinner or something like that. Yeah. God, dude, that was a very fun Christmas. That was by far and away, not only because it was my first, but I think it was also the most significant because we had so many FAs. It was almost like, oh my God, new FA. But now, you know, the Christmas stuff is still good. I think usually usually each time VV does an event, right, they usually do a pretty good job of putting out like 2 very solid collectibles that like people are going to want to chase after. I'm waiting on Harley to hit night 15, then buying, so no one buy till then. All right, I'll keep it on the DL. I won't mention it. What's a Grail for millionaires? What would someone where money is no object? Something like SR Spider-Man would be a collectible that someone might pay crazy amount to own. Yeah, I mean, I think the reason why I put like SR Spidey in like Grail status versus like flex piece is because like Spider-Man I think is popular enough to where people are going to want to throw money at it or sell other collectibles to be able to afford it. Like there could be some people like obsessed enough to get that. Flex pieces I think are almost like they're too expensive for most people to even bother going after, and it's like very significant for like a small handful of people, or you know, you're part of an exclusive group or whatever it is. I mean, if you're a millionaire, you just buy what you want, right? Like if you legitimately had, let's say, $500,000 like throwing VVs, like you just buy what you want at that point. And those are the questions where, all right, if someone did have $500,000 to spend on VV, or maybe even just 100K, right? Like, what's the top 10 collectibles you're going to tell them to buy? You know, is it going to be Donnie? Maybe. Could be on that list. I mean, at least if they have that much. So price point is also another thing too. What was I going to look up? There's another thing I was going to... Oh yeah, I was going to actually put in VV feedback about this. Actually, just reminded myself. First off, I would love to have the VV feedback on the website. I don't know what happened with that. 2, we had animated tags removed. Like anything that had an animation and like had that tag was just like removed. So now it's really hard to tell like which collectibles do and don't have animations, to be honest. Like the Finn McWiggles one, like I don't even know this was animated. Like if you just looked at it, you would just think it's a static one just sitting there. But if you do it in AR, it's actually flops around and stuff, and it's actually a pretty cool collectible. And there was something else too, but I just thought of that because I remember looking at this. I'm like, is this animated? And I clicked on it. I looked everywhere. I'm like, does that have the animated tag? I'm like, wait, where did the tags go? So animated tags are gone. Fastos. You guys remember Fastos? That was all the VV content creators like listed their Fastos for whatever price, and like everyone would like follow each other through that. I don't know if you guys remember that, but Corey? I did buy, dude, Corey, this is another one. It's actually animated. Like the animation on this is actually pretty legit for 2 gems. At least if you're just trying to showcase the AR and the high quality animation that VV can kind of show off. You know, dude, you can get a Thor for 2 gems. So it's like, this is the thing I'm talking about. It's like, if someone's brand new to the app, I'd be like, dude, do you like Marvel? Like, dude, there's Thor for $2. Punisher for probably, I bet you there's even a cheaper Punisher. Moon Knight. Dude, you can even get this Moon Knight for $2. You get Jawas. Rhino. Like, there's actually some pretty solid first appearance, pretty popular characters that I think people could easily acquire for less than 10 gems. So this is kind of, I wanted to make a video like talking about these collectibles. Like, all right, if you're new to the app, you know, I would suggest you go to the market, find stuff that's cheap. Here's the ones I, you know, recommend, or the ones that I think that are cool because it's animated and because it's cheap, or, you know, whatever it is. But yeah, you can get a T-Rex. The T-Rex, in my opinion, looks great in any environment. So the T-Rex is one of those ones where it's like, in most places, if you put it in AR, it actually looks really cool, especially if you make it big. And, you know, you put it in a parking lot. You can put it in a theme park, apartment complex, like whatever. What were some other ones? think that was it. Okay, what about this one? Hulk. FA Hulk. Is this one a Grail? A blue chip? 4,444 editions. This one is animated too. I don't know if you guys remember. Doesn't say animated, but remember he like slams the ground and it makes that little thing on the ground. I would show you because again, that was actually the other thing. I can't show you the 3D collectible part on the website. I can't look at this in like 3D. I'll just make a poll. It's that way it's easier for everyone to respond. I get it. When people tell me to like do stuff in chat and I'm watching on YouTube, I'm like, dude, I can't be bothered. So I'm gonna make it easy. You guys can just do a poll. It's kind of hard with these like original Avengers, right? Like, is it a Grail or a blue chip? Because I mean, comparatively, if you compare it to Thor, Captain America, even Iron Man, right? Iron Man Golden Moments, there's 13,000. So there's 29,000 Steve Rogers. There's probably just as many, if not more, Thors, if you're talking about all the rarities. Hulk is like, if you're talking about the Avengers, and like Iron Man obviously has like 13,000 mints because he's a Golden Moment. Like mint wise compared to the other Avengers, like this is very much on the low end. 4,444. Hawkeye, I don't even think he's even in the conversation, but we'll look him up anyway. Yeah, he's not even. Okay, he did get burned. I was like, he didn't sell out. I thought he was still not sold out. Yeah, dude, he's super scarce. 550 editions, 553 technically. So, I mean, technically this is the bottleneck if people want to collect the like whole MCU Avengers team, right? Who am I missing? Black Widow. I don't know if you guys remember this one. This is it, right? This is the FA? This is the FA we're talking about, right? Anyway. Hulk is a... All right, we got one vote, and one person said blue cheap. No one's thinking he's a Grail yet. We got one vote. No, this is not the FA I was talking about. This is the FA Black Widow. Yeah, 22,000 of her, yeah. Eesh, okay, there's a big wall of fives. So, I mean, technically, if someone did want to collect the, like, original MCU Avengers or whatever, like, technically Hawkeye is the bottleneck for that if people really want to go for it. Am I missing anyone? Thor, Iron Man, Captain America, Hulk, Black Widow, Hawkeye. I think that's it. Do you guys consider Wasp? No. I think that's like the old school one, not so much the newer one. Ant-Man? Ant-Man. Common. And it's a Marvel Mighty, so it's probably a lot of mints. 4,200. That's a lot. Yeah, I just got that stupid nesting doll a week or two ago. You love it. That's why you bought it. No other reason. You say you hate it, but it's a love-hate relationship. Admit it. You love that thing. Is it even animated? Like, does it actually pop out of itself, or is it just static? I don't know, because it doesn't let me do 3D or tell me it's animated on... You know, I'm going to look it up on my phone. Collectibles. View in 3D. Yeah, it pops out 5 times. Okay. All right, let's see. I'm willing to bet some of you guys have never seen this, but we're going to do it live. Or is the camera? Oh, gosh, do I have to tilt it this way? It's like so bright. It's like having trouble focusing. All right, whatever. We'll tap it. Do I have to move it? Oh. Hell yeah. Grail. It's also... The other thing too, I hope they kind of fix on the... They kind of fix a little bit with like viewing things in 3D. I've noticed that like when you view things in 3D, it's still like fixed on a weird point in space, like on the collectible, and you just cannot like pitch yourself up and down, left and right. Like you're just always stuck looking at that one point in the middle, and you can only like look around it. Especially collectibles that are like very large, or that can actually like go pretty wide. It's like very hard to see some of them. I remember some of the golden moments or some of the other collectibles are like that, where it's like, I'm trying to think of one, for example, like the Stormtrooper one with the base, like the secret rare, like for some reason it's like very locked into the base, and like it's actually really hard to even see the Stormtrooper because it's just the central point of the collectible or whatever is like in the middle of the base, and it's just hard to like see anything. But anyway, let's see here. I'm going to add a few more. Are there any other collectibles that you guys can think of that are obviously this? This is a new collectible. That's a Grail status. I mean, I think this is actually flex piece status at this point, but it is a Grail. This is the Veve logo. Just this one, right? Actually, let me go back. Like this, at this point, it's a Grail / borderline flex piece because the utility that's attached to it and all that stuff. And I do think if you're a brand new user to Veve and you're like, yeah, well, I had my crypto gains or whatever it is, I have 50, 60 grand, whatever to put into Veve, or not even that much. Like it's like the Veve logo is probably one of the first things that's going to get recommended to you if you are new to Veve and you do have like a lot of money. Just because of the IRL utility, like if you're really bought into the whole Veve thing, going to real life events and, you know, getting patches and stuff like that and exclusive access to parties and you can bring a guest and this and that, like there's so much that comes with it that I think this is essentially a flex piece. I mean, it is a Grail. It's actually, I mean, it's affordable than some of the other Grails, right? But it is, this is another one too. Mark D. Yeah. We covered, let me just rattle off some of the, these are just, I'm not saying all these collectibles are Grails. These are just the ones that I actually want to like put into the conversation of it being like a Grail, a blue chip, or like a very, very high tier, like A tier collectible. And I didn't want to do too many, but there's like David Yu, the blue one, the DB5. I mean, that's arguably a flex piece. Like Donnie's a flex piece. Dr. Doom. I don't know. You guys think Dr. Doom's a Grail or a flex, a Grail or like a blue chip? Flower Bomber, Grogu, Harley, Hulk, Iron Man, Joker, Luke, Magneto, Miles Morales, Steamboat Willie. The other three, FE, Batman. So Rizzo, Becky Cloonan, Joe Mad. I still think, I don't know if you guys were here earlier, but I think the self-made collectible is now a flex piece for the most part. I don't even know if I should bother with the flex piece stuff because I'll be honest, there's probably a lot of art, especially like the 101s. Like those are all flex pieces technically, but SR Spider-Man, SR Stan Lee. I did put both Star Wars collectibles together. Like this is literally the, like I'm gonna put them in one category. It's like Golden Moment, R2D2, whatever. Like they should be together. Superman, Thanos, Todd, Vader, Veve logo, Walt are partners, and then Wolverine. So if there's any I'm missing, Miles Morales, yep. Is there a way I could just like show you guys like the... Yeah. Yeah, there's not really a way for me to show you guys all of those, but those are what I have so far. I think that's kind of it. How long have we been streaming for? I started what, at 5:45? Yeah, we've been going for about 2.5 hours, almost 2.5 hours. Dude, it really flies. No one, I was like kind of getting tired. I'm like, dude, why am I tired? Yeah, this is pretty much empty. I don't know, is there any new collectibles that I forgot? Latest drops. I think this might be a little... It might be easier to go through the list like this and figure out what's Grail status. So we already said Grogu. So Grogu, in my opinion, is a Grail. Top 10. Potentially top 5, in my opinion. Any cards that you put into Grails? I think there's a lot of cars. And the popularity's all over the place. And to be honest, like I think like the whole Lambo thing, it's kind of more of a meme at this point, but how many people are going to choose a car over a superhero or a villain? That's kind of the question. For now, I'm just kind of... The only car I have in this thing is the DB5. The one with 7 mints. And that's pretty much a flex piece. I mean, you could go with the SR, but I think even that one... Whoops. Yeah, I'll just look it up on here so that way I don't have to DB5. That's because I put up max price. Yeah, so the SR... All right, so there's 500 DB5s. This is the interactive one. There's 500 mints. This one could be up there. I think this one could be like, this is a Grail and the other one's a flex piece essentially. So that's debatable. I think I even had it in my video here. Yeah, I did. I actually had it kind of at the bottom of blue chip, which I would agree. I think it's just, there's just so many other things on average. Like if you're a car guy, yeah, that's going to be one of the ones I would imagine you go after, but there's quite a few cars. Cars are pretty cheap too on Veve now, at least like vehicles. I also just don't know enough about cars to really list them that way. Rare Luke, the animated one, or the SR, I'm not entirely certain which. Like, which one to buy, Mark? Like, are those, like, blue chips, or... Just wondering which one. Mando is my second favorite Star Wars character behind Vader, so crazy how low his price is. Personally, he's a Grail to me, although... I know he probably not the is not most of people. Yeah. I think it's kind of one of those things where it's like independently of how good or bad the show is, people are always going to love Grogu. I get what you mean. I do like Mando quite a bit. I do think Grogu just kind of stole a lot of the spotlight and liquidity literally from the drop, and they both cost 70 gems, so that's kind of what hurt it. But I think he's a very solid character. He's probably like A tier or something like that. But as like a blue chip, and like because he's so closely associated with like Grogu. Like I think most people are gonna want Grogu. I mean, the market's kind of spoken at this point. I don't think it's wrong. I mean, it's also a good time to pick him up. I mean, if you can get him for like below box, you know, long term, it's probably good. Debating whether to get my first Mando or Steamboat UR. Well, Mando's at like 50, right? Or like 60. I messed that up. Let me just open another tab here. We'll check it out. Manda. I keep thinking it's like Mandalorian, but it's Manda with an A. Way at the bottom. So about half sold, not even. Yeah, not even half sold, but pretty close. What's the floor price? 60 gems. So it's 10 below box price. And Steamboat Willie. $74, so a little bit higher. I mean, is Steamboat Willie, has it gone lower than that? I feel like it's gone lower than that. Right now I'm trying to think, like, what are people more... I think people are more likely to forget about Steamboat Willie than Mandalorian. There's also a bunch of mints of this. Now, how much lower can go? Like, it did go down to 65 at one point, but it's already up a little bit from there. There's also only 500 mints technically right now of the Mandalorian. So if you like had to buy today, I would pick Mandalorian because it's cheaper, less mints, all that stuff. And I think you can kind of circle back. Like, Mandalorian could be one of those things where, like, given enough time, people could like buy up a lot of it and like buy a lot from the store and just kind of collect them all for under 70 or something. But I don't know. It's your choice. But there's only 1,000 man. Like, if it actually did sell it from the store, there's only 1,000 of them. So I think just for the fact that it's so much more scarce, and like I think you'll have more than enough time to kind of buy Steamboat Willie later. Probably Mando. Thanks for the stream while I wait for the Switch 2. Yeah. Is that getting released today, or are you just joking? Like, it's not coming out for months? I don't know. I haven't really paid attention to like console stuff. Any chance you can give me your Disney Pinnacle username? I will chat with you on the app this weekend. Can I message you on like X or something later? Because like my Disney Pinnacle account, it has like a weird username. Like, it wouldn't let me change my name. It's like user 2467 whatever. It's something like weird. So I'll have to chat it with you later if I can find it. We're looking for Grails. Grails are arguably blue chips, not including comics. Grover? Is Grover not a Grail? Lambo would have been a Grail if they didn't do like 10 runs of them. Yeah, there's a lot of them. You have a DB5? Oh, I don't. Not me personally. I was just saying, like, on the list. Which Luke is the Grail? I think just the scarcest one. SR. I don't think animations are enough to carry a collectible. Now, if it's the most scarce one and it's animated, like a Miles Morales, I think that only helps the value. But I don't. I think you usually always pick the most scarce one. I mean, both are good. I own an SR Luke, so I'm biased. Yeah. Yeah, I own the DeLorean and Ecto 1 for V. Same here. I own one of each. I actually bought the Kit car. Kit, I think, is another one people are kind of overlooking because that one is animated. I don't know if it's animated or just has sound. But I bought one for... Yeah, dude, this car is 7 gems. Unfortunately, it's not drivable, but it does make the little whir sound and all that stuff. Dude, this thing was 120 gems. when it was released. Now, there's quite a few cars, but I do think for 7 gems, I mean, it could go down a little bit lower. Is that it's like low? Kit. Yeah, its all-time low was 5 gems, so technically it was lower. Mando is awesome as fuck. I love him so much. Yeah, I loved Mando the first like 5 or 6 episodes of season 1, and there's a few episodes I like him in season 2. But once the mask came off and like they were building up this whole oath thing and all that stuff forever, and then it's like, oh, you break your oath your first season, you know? I don't know. I couldn't do it. And it's also been a long time since I've watched the show, so I might have to rewatch it. But I was in love with at least the first half of season 1. I think his, I feel like a lot of his badassery went away after he took his helmet off. Let's say that. I'll buy a car when the Ford Shelby and the Ford F40 drops. Ooh, junk. Pinnacle is king. Pinnacle is king. There's trading going on this weekend, Tucson, apparently. Like a trade and market swap or something going on. So Super Grover could possibly be the highest quality animation on the app. That is actually true. I don't own a Grover, but what's his price? All right, it's not sold out. 30 gems. That's the other thing I don't like. I don't like that if something is not sold out in the store, it just does not tell you what it is in the market. Yeah, I'm just gonna type in Grover up here. Let's see. Not Grover. Grover. I need some water. My throat is actually starting to hurt a little bit from talking. I got to save a little bit for tomorrow. I'm actually going to be on BE stream in like 12 hours right before the drop. So I just did it again. Whoops. Market. 500 gemmies. Well, this is the special edition. Actually, I clicked on the wrong one. All right, what about this guy? All right, 7 gems for Grover. That one, or I think Green Lantern's also another one that's a little underrated. I know he's not the most popular Justice League member, but he has about 2,400 mints, and actually has a really good 12 gems or 13 gems too. Just throwing that out there. But this one has a really cool animation too. He does like a backflip and like swirls around. He has the hand thing. Now the sound on it is like completely messed up. I don't know why the sound is cranked up to like 450% on this collectible. Like anytime I hear it, it just blows out my eardrums. So other than that, the animation and sound is really good. I have a lot of vehicles. Nice. Kit is real dope. It is. And for 7 gems, it's not bad. I love that show when I was a little kid. 7 gems. Well, that's going to my collection pronto. Yeah. It is drivable? Yes. I think you're right. That's the other thing too. It doesn't say animated. It doesn't say interactive. Like there's no way to tell. Veve really needs to bring back the animated tag, or if something is other than static, I think they need to add the thing on it. I'm not sure if they do that to not devalue or whatever the like static statues and like collectibles and stuff, but I mean, I feel like if something's animated or at least has like sound and whatever, like they should add something. Dude, I keep hitting my mic. Grogu melted his heart. It's okay. Fatherhood changes a man. That's true. All right, I'm going to sleep. Have a good night. Thanks, Slider, for stopping by, dude. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, I'm gonna call it soon too. I mean, we're pushing over 2.5 hours at this point. Yeah, I'll have to actually let me go through this list really quick. All right, we're still looking for grails. I'm literally going down in order from like most recent to oldest collectibles. No Assassin's Creed. It's not a grail, and as much as I like Blue Corey and Blue MC to be grails, and Veve Magic, fortunately they are not grails. Now this one, flying balloons. What's this one going for? I think this is just another flex piece kind of thing. It's the same mints. Also 1 million. Gosh, it's almost like an identical price to the Flower Bomber too. I think Flower Bomber was like 850. That's pretty crazy. Galactus? I don't think he's a Grail. Real question is he arguably like a low tier blue chip? Oh yeah, I forgot this one was an evolvable. How do you guys feel about evolvables now? I know they've tried it a bunch of different ways. I liked them at first. I just don't know what it is, but at this point, I kind of just avoid them. Especially since so much of the value is just tied up in the SR. And if you're just not lucky enough to just click the button fast enough, it's almost like all the crafting up into that point is just kind of devalued. And then, the URs go from 50 gems down to 25, 20 gems within 3 minutes, 4 minutes after this gets sold out. There's only 300 of these SR Galactus, and TomTom actually did buy quite a few of these the other day. I have too many of these like VV tabs open because I'm looking at stuff. Where's Stacker? Did I close it? Oh, Stacker was giving me issues earlier for some reason. That's why I closed it. Let's see if it's fixed now. Yeah, it's still giving me issues. So I will say this. This is my hypothesis. Whoops. So I go to Stacker. This seems okay. I've noticed anytime I have like a really, not always, sometimes Stacker has its own issues, but anytime Stacker has an issue, like you can't search something or it's just not showing up, typically that means, and this is just my hypothesis, there's like an update or there's an update or something coming. I don't know if it's like a new IP, but usually it's something a bit more obscure, like a crafting mechanic, like a craft drop. Typically it's something different. So we'll see. Maybe we'll get something in like the next week or so, but I've noticed like anytime Stacker just has a weird thing and it just doesn't work, especially for an extended period of time. Like if it also doesn't work tomorrow, like there's an update or something going on with like the VV API and it's just like not working. That's just been my experience, but I'm not sure. So Galactus Grail? I'm not sure. I would have been much happier with evolvables if we could have MCP for crafting the UR and SR. Yeah, there was like, or you burn a certain amount of MCP, but it's still going to cost you gems. In my opinion, I as much as I like quickly crafting things and, having it be like old days where you can just speed click stuff and buy a bunch or craft a bunch. But just the fact that there's like an internet factor with it, and obviously I think the servers that VV uses are like somewhere on like the East Coast, like Virginia area or something like that. I'm not exactly sure, but that's what everyone thinks like the Amazon like AWS servers are and stuff. Those people just have like an inherent advantage, and I still think they should waitlist it, but that's just me. I don't mind speed crafting, but when it's for stuff that's like very scarce, I don't know. Sesame Street, popular, yes. Are there tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people across the globe spending thousands of dollars on Sesame Street? Probably not. So, and that's the thing we kind of realized. I think that's something that we've all kind of learned with like Woody from Toy Story, or what's the other one too? Lilo and Stitch, like Stitch and stuff like that, it's like it being popular isn't always directly correlated with like Grail or blue chip, or it's like a high price or whatever. It's like, yeah, a lot of people know of a character, but it doesn't mean people are going to throw money at it, right? Galactus SR is super awesome, but I'm not sure about blue chip. I think I agree, though. I have heard. I don't know if you guys heard anything about the new Fantastic Four movie coming out. Apparently, I've been watching some YouTubers talk about it, and I guess they've had like test screenings about it and stuff like that. But from what I've heard, everyone has said that the Galactus like actor and all that stuff, the whole thing about Galactus is just fucking great. A lot of people like some people are saying like that's like the best part of the movie, but again, this is what I've heard from a YouTuber through a guy that like went to some like Marvel test screenings or whatever. So maybe that'll turn around the popularity a bit for Galactus, but either way, I agree. And if we start accepting characters like Galactus, then we start getting into the realm of like, all right, let's just accept every SR of a semi-popular Marvel character and call it a blue chip. You know, Punisher SR blue chip or Grail. Does have the full mask on. 300. Yeah, all these evolvables have a 300 mint max. What do you guys think about Punisher? Oh, I forgot about my Hulk poll from a while ago. Most people think it's a blue chip. I think could be a blue chip. And that's the thing. It's as much as I want to make the like Grail and blue chip like tier list. If we start accepting all these, I feel like we're gonna start having, 55 collectibles that are all considered quote unquote blue chip. I forgot I opened another tab for this one. Oh. Did I? Oh, go back. Okay, good. Didn't lose our spot. We're still going back in time, trying to find some new Grails. Punisher evolving totally pissed me off. I couldn't load UR crafting and got shut out. Yeah, exactly. Right. Using MCP for waitlist, I meant crafting. Gotcha. I think the Disney D is pretty high up there, but 10,000 will always hold it down. Yeah, I think that's one of those ones where, again, if you're a Disney fan, I mean, there's so many different things you can buy. I mean, I like the golden moments and like the logos and stuff, and the Disney D. I mean, the Disney D looks really cool. Don't get me wrong, but got 3 Galactus SRs, including a very low mint. Nice. Are you gonna hold them forever? Or are you doing the David U, like one to keep, one to sell, like one to trade, or like one to kind of like figure out as you go along? I love Punisher. He's like my favorite, but I'm still so salty about the crafting failure. I have not bought the UR or the SR. Yeah. I got up to the UR. I think I crafted 2 URs somehow. But the SR just couldn't craft. I was like in the parking lot of my work and internet wasn't good because I literally start like the minute work starts. And if I'm actually in the office, the internet is terrible. So I was like in the parking lot, like late, and it was still slow. And I'm like, all right, screw this. So Bubbles, a Grail or Bubbles, a Grail, Flex, or Blue? I don't think it's like, I don't know. What's the price on it? I don't think it's a Grail. I don't even think it's a blue chip, to be honest. $395, 600 mints. Again, it's another one of those IPs where it's like, I mean, are there going to be a lot of people that join the app are going to throw thousands of gems at Powerpuff Girls? Again, I do think a lot of these early drops, the prices are super inflated for the fact of you know, I do think season 1, everyone in season 1, probably even parts of season 2, that like FAs did. I mean, FAs were somewhat important, but it was always just scarcity, 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 no matter what the IP was. So I don't know, unless there are people out there that are spending thousands of dollars, you know, buying, collecting, trading Powerpuff Girls, which there might be. I don't know. And if she is one, it might take a while. I don't know. I feel like it's just this is all assuming Veve gets 500,000 people on the app, right? You know, it's just one of those things where it's like, I think Bubbles is like the 150th thing to kind of like get really pumped up, or to people like to go buy after. Bubbles awesome. That's a good one. I don't know. Maybe I'm a little biased. The fact that it's a season 1 collectible does help it quite a bit. I do think a lot of the season 1 collectibles in general will do well. At the very least, I'll put it on like the low end of blue chip, maybe just for the fact. I don't know. There were so many give the D jokes when I dropped. I remember. Yes. Look at that D. That's a big D. Give the D. If actual Disney collectors yielded to the digital revolution, they would freak out for Mickey Sorcerer's hat. Yeah, probably. Yeah, I do. That was also another collectible that changed from like FA to FE. I mean, and that happened like literally minutes after I bought it. Like I remember I waited for them to release the article and it wasn't on the list. Like none of the golden moments were on the list of like the FA, FE changes. So I'm like, cool, I'm safe. I remember I bought it and then the price was still going down and down and down, just like all the other, like I remember this literally happened. Like, I don't know what time of day it was, but I remember they made the announcement. Collectibles were just absolutely nosediving in price, right? Like golden moments that were 7,000 gems went all the way down to like 4,500, like in the span of like a few hours. And I remember like it wasn't on the article, and I bought the Mickey Sorcerer's hat because I'm like, oh, it's not on the list. Like none of the golden moments were. And then I guess they like did like a shadow update of the article like 2 hours later, like, oh, we forgot the golden moments, so they added like the Pizza Planet truck, the Mickey hat, like all the logos, like they added all that stuff to like, oh, this is no longer FA, now it's FE. Because I was wondering, I'm like, dude, why is this still going down and down and down in price? But I don't know. This is, again, this is just my opinion. If you guys think I'm wrong, great, but I do think that there's just like way more IPs and characters and all that stuff that I think people would rather buy. Now, do people that love Powerpuff Girls are obsessed with it? Like, A, you have to like Powerpuff Girls. Either you have a ton of money and you're just buying everything, or you have to have a lot of gems to afford Bubbles. You have to love Powerpuff Girls equal to, if not more than, every other Marvel, DC, Star Wars character that's ever existed on the app. I don't know. That's just my take. Henry, what's up? Imagine celebrating getting scammed for the last 4 years is still attending these Veve get-togethers. Yeah, we're still here. And yet you're here too. I'm glad you came back, Henry. Stuff's pretty cheap now if you want to buy it before it goes up. I love Veve. Yeah, we all love Veve. Sometimes you got to close the portfolio to close the portfolio value. If my portfolio is like golf score, then I'm crushing it. Yeah. I think we've all... I don't think at any point Veve was scamming us or anything like that. It's just... This is what you get into when you're in projects, especially speculative NFT blockchain projects very early. Is like, stuff happens, you know, you lose stuff goes down in value. Like, this is the deal. And if you can't hang, or if you can't handle the loss, or if you're over leveraged, I mean, that's on you. And I know they didn't deliver a lot of stuff or held out. And, you know, everyone has different breaking points for when they want to cash out of a project or leave. So for me, that hasn't happened yet because I didn't put a whole lot into Veve. Even if all my stuff goes to 0, like, I don't care. I'd rather just hold it down to 0. Now, if something did happen to Veve, or if I felt like they were going in the completely opposite direction and they're not advertising and they're not doing anything and there's no updates, there's no like, and that happens for an extremely long period of time, and they're not getting new IPs, they're not doing drops, but they're still doing drops, they're still getting new IPs, they're still adding implementations. We have the Veveverse, we have a lot of stuff. So as long as that is still going in like a positive direction, everything else is just noise, in my opinion. So that's why I don't get too caught up with like, you know, drama with other like content creators or anything like that. So, and there's still lots of other projects. Like Veve is not the only project you can make money on. I mean, there's plenty of other NFT projects or whatever you can go do. I just think that, yeah, Veve's here. People are going to want the IPs, and especially like the normies, right? Like I'm actually going, yeah, what's up, Kid Arcade? Thanks for stopping by. Like this weekend coming up, I think there's like the Phoenix Fan Fest, and I actually meant to text the people out in Phoenix. There's like a Phoenix Fan Fest coming out this weekend, and yeah, I'm just gonna go there and hang out. I mean, I actually want to look at stuff, buy stuff, hang out, but I'm also gonna, you know, tell some people about Veve. You know, maybe show them a couple like Veve exclusive comics in my bag. Ask them, hey, who's your favorite? You know, go up to some people and be like, hey, who's your favorite superhero? Oh, it's Wolverine. Yeah, you want a picture with Wolverine? Oh, what do you mean? Hold on, stand right there. Snap. You know, it's an easy conversation starter. Yeah, in my opinion, if any of this NFT stuff is going to make it, Veve will. Exactly. If Veve has survived more drama than any other NFT platform or project ever, like if half the stuff that happened to Veve happened to like any other project, they would have been gone years ago. Like they just would have been under, right? And I know there's a lot of frustration with like me and the early investors and all that stuff. And like, yeah, to be honest, Veve was probably in and over their head with like a lot of stuff like the first like few years. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that, like, even if you think like Veve's a scam, but you still have like a little bit of hope that it could be something. Like, dude, there's so much cheap stuff on Veve that like, even if you put $100 in and you know exactly what to buy, like there's still like, I just showed earlier, there's a lot of like FA characters and stuff like that that are like under like 30, 40, even like 20, 10 gems, like whatever it is. So Veve digital products are fire. It's undeniable how some of these pieces are. Quality matters. Yeah. Quality, all that stuff, it all matters. And I actually do like some of these older collectibles, you know, that don't have like the highest quality or whatever. It kind of gives it a bit of charm, at least in my opinion. Yeah, but that's what that's kind of what I don't know if you guys ever heard of God, what's that MMO? There's like an MMO coming out. Ashes of Creation. I'm only bringing this up because Ashes of Creation is an MMO that's coming out, and this guy, like the owners, actually put like a ton of money into it, like tens of millions of dollars into it, just to kind of like make the best MMO or whatever. But there's still like an early access or beta or whatever the deal is. And people are complaining, well, this is glitch and this and that. And like you don't realize, like I told you, this is early access. Like this is early, like we're still developing and all that stuff. Like if you don't like this stuff, or if you can't handle bugs and glitches and like feedback and you know this, now if you can't handle it, then just leave. Like we have plenty of other people that are willing to stick around and help like build a project, do all that stuff. It's like, you know, if you feel like you're wronged or something like that, or if it didn't pan out, or you know, over leveraged, it's like plenty of other people are going to stick around. That's kind of why I brought it up. It's like we're still very early with a lot of the stuff. If Orbis ever needed to sell, Orbis? If Orbis ever needed to sell, there would be a line around the block of companies trying to buy it. Orbis? I'm not familiar with Orbis. Either that or Mr. Oh yeah, I remember Ashes of Creation. I followed them for a while. Yeah, I mean, I don't follow it either. Like, there was a period of time I did follow them for a little bit, and I was just kind of watching their like dev panels and them, all that kind of stuff. It like looked cool. I'm kind of done with MMOs. I think I mean, they're cool and they're very cool, like community building, but it's like there's only so many communities and stuff to do that. Orbis owns Veve. That's where I heard it, because when I looked it up, it was talking about like nonprofits and stuff like that. Yeah. Okay, that's what it was. All right, thanks for reminding me. It's honestly been a while since someone even mentioned the name Orbis, like in a stream or just in general. So, Orbis is either the parent company of Veve or they rebranded from Orbis to Veve a while back. Don't remember which. Yeah, it sounds like they're the parent company. I don't understand all the, dynamics of all that stuff, but. And plus, it sounds like Veve is kind of pushing for interoperability and all that stuff now. Did you hear that, Execu Speak? Have you watched Dan's like announcement thing he did earlier today? They're trying to push for like interoperability and all that stuff. Now, again, I don't know if you guys saw, there's an asterisk next to it, like pending licensor approval, right? But still, it's nice that they're pushing for that. They're trying to convince their licensors that like Web3, getting these contracts, trying to get perpetual royalties like off the platform or on chain is like going to be the way to go. Oh yeah, let's keep going back. Any other grails or blue chips? I'm going to hop off here in about 15 minutes. So X-Men logo, I don't think so. As much as I love X-Men. Now, interesting, like if we keep going down, Marvel logo. What do you guys think about the Marvel logo? Is the Marvel logo like a blue chip? Is the X-Men? I don't think X-Men is a blue chip, but I definitely think it's like a A-tier collectible to grab. I think at some point people might want it. Got my Penny Black. What do you guys think about Penny Black? I have the SR. This is actually one of the few, because I really wanted that physical. This is actually one of the few ones where I just kept on clicking the button. Like, I did not care on this one. I mean, in my opinion, it's the best stamp we have on the app, and it's also historically relevant. It's the first stamp to ever exist, so I think there's something there with the Penny Black stamp. I think there is something to like having the best one of each like category. It's like, what's the best card? What's the best poster? What's the best stamp? What's the best car? It's hard to say. It's on the list. Was actually going to go watch that and saw your stream, but it's on the list to go watch for sure. Heard some good stuff came out of it. Yeah. Check it out. I mean, it's like a 12-minute watch or something like that, or it's 15 minutes. Dan just reiterated the same things they were saying every day in 2021. It's like everybody forgot. Yeah, I mean, they did bring up some new stuff. The one thing I will say, I do think people, I mean, right when he said like Shopify and all that stuff, like people lost their mind stuff, but it's like, all right, this is still pending licensor approval, and this is like assuming that they all buy into the idea of like blockchain and all that kind of stuff. So I agree. It's nice to hear them like reiterate it, but that's what I mean. I've kind of given up on like timelines and stuff like that. Like as long as they're still pushing it, and to be honest, I don't think Veve needs interoperability. Now, if they do get it, that is massive, and now they're pretty much well beyond any other platform or any other like NFT project, because it's like we have officially licensed and we can do the same thing as you. Like the one thing you had over us, which is interoperability or decentralization, like Now that's not the case anymore. So now there's kind of no reason to. I think that is probably one of the most bullish things if they pull it off to happen. But again, it's pending licensor approval. So if licensors can get on board, we're rocking and rolling. If not, we're just gonna stay the same course that I thought we're gonna head on anyway, which is just centralized, gated garden. Keep your shit safe. Because I still think, like, I mean, people are going to make tons of money this next bull run. And all those people that make hundreds of, ETH or Sol or whatever the deal is, right? And they're going to want to roll their crypto profits into something. I mean, there's still a lot of projects. I mean, there's going to be so many scam projects and stupid stuff that happens, when the bull run happens. And, like, tons of people are going to get their wallets drained. They're going to get rugged on projects. There's still projects out there that are... they build up a community for like over a year or even multiple years, and they just rug everybody. It's just like, all right. I mean, you can either invest in mutated Monkey Samurai Sword 8 project number 470, or you can get Spider-Man and your shit's safe, and you can cash out with crypto or bank stuff, right? Yeah, there's less liquidity. There's less people on there, and not everyone's losing their mind over, oh my God, my thing went from 2 Sol to 10 Sol now. But I think Veve is like the safe place if you want to invest your stuff. It's for normies. It has all that stuff. So it's kind of carved out its own space. And I think that's good enough. Now if they can get interoperable and take all the space, I would love that. But I think Marvel logo is freaking awesome. But I do have a sub 60, so I might be biased. Yeah, dude, sub 60 is nice. I think I have 2. I kind of missed the boat on the Marvel logos, so I bought like a few X-Men logos. I might go buy some more X-Men logos. It's kind of hard. There's so many stuff I want to get. Logos are tough. I own most of the Veve logos except for the gold silver one, aka the only important one, and the diamond one that just came out for Blackpink. Marvel logo is probably at least A tier. I think so too. I don't think are they still having that? I mean, whether they do or not, I don't think it's going to affect it. But I could have swore like Sanjay or whatever. I thought they were going to make like a Marvel logo group, but you have to own like 5 or like 10 or something weird. Penny Black was an awesome partnership. Yeah, dude, do I? I think I have it stored somewhere, but I have the stamp, and I think I've showed it on stream one time, but maybe next time if I remember, I'll grab it. Any timeline I had for Veve, I ripped apart and replaced it with big ol' soon. Yeah, exactly. As long as they're somewhat heading in that direction. Like I said, interoperability, in my opinion, is just a bonus. If they can pull it off, great. If not, but as long as they're releasing new IPs and they're still doing like new stuff and they're actually going to do some kind of advertising at some point, or at least some sort of push, that'd be great. But the whole thing is headed towards interoperability. People just need something to shout about. Impatience, exactly. Like I said, like unless Veve says, hey, we're completely backing out of the idea of interoperability or whatever it is, even then, even if they said like, hey, look, we spent years trying to convince these licensors to do interoperability or whatever it is, they're just saying no, whatever. I don't think they would ever tell us that, but we'll see. Veve is dealing with legacy partners, old money. They can't just willy-nilly do whatever they want. Exactly. Yeah, they can't, they're still trying to understand the technology. There's infinitely more red tape behind Marvel and Disney and all these big licensors than some small project of people, saying like, oh, let's go ahead and mutate our monkeys. Everyone craft your monkey and, do whatever. Like that NFT project. Like, usually there's like half a dozen people running that, if that. Don't have to wait for the bull market to get rugged. You can buy into Sol meme coin and rug like 100 times. Oh, yeah. I've actually this is actually kind of why I did a little bit of a break. I actually went up a little bit, then lost some, and then kind of went back and forth. And I did make pretty decent gain doing it, but I did do meme coin trading for a while, just to kind of learn it. And I mean, I was trading very small amounts just to kind of understand it. But yeah, I mean, there are literally hundreds of rugs a day. People put out a post, and it's like Elon Musk that looks like a sea otter or something like that, and then it'll go up and then just rug within like 13 seconds. And you're like, oh, that's a funny meme. You put 0.01 Sol or whatever you want to put into it, and it just gets rugged immediately. You just lose all your money. So it's like, kind of have to be careful with it, obviously, right? But that's why you trade with groups, and you know, whenever you're trading, whether it's, you know, at least you're being serious with it. If you're trying to do like active trading, day trading especially, like you want to get with a group and other people that know more than you. You don't want to do it by yourself. I still think that Veve should whitelist previous set holders of that IP that is dropping a new collectible. That would be cool, right? I see what you mean. Like if you own, what would be cool is if they said like, hey, if you own any Star Wars set, you know, you get early access on this dropper or whatever it is. I get what you mean. I mean, I think I like the idea of doing any set. That way the cheaper sets go up in value, or people are kind of buying different things, or people are like, well, I was going to buy the lightsaber set, but I might as well just buy it now, because if I do it, I can get early access for this next drop or whitelisted or whatever. So I like that. It's just hard because it does sound like Disney and all them want to have everything written out with like the utility for it. But I feel like that's something, maybe that's something Veve could just do on their own. You know, might just say whoever has a set, these sets, or if you have a Marvel set or you own, you know, the golden C-3PO and R2-D2, like we're going to take a snapshot on this date. And if you have the set, you get early access or whitelisted for the drop. That's 2 days later or something like that. X-Men logo is great too, very affordable. But as you say, there's so much good stuff to choose from. Yeah, I think people forget that. Like people just look at something like in a vacuum or like in a single thing, like, well, this one thing is very good. It's like you have to compare it, like, you know, Bubble. In my opinion, you know, Bubbles is cool, but it's competing with about, you know, 120 other collectibles that are way cheaper and or roughly the same price. But I think like a lot of other people would rather buy. I don't know. I have the SRE Call Me logo at least, so that's nice. Ooh, that is nice. Let me look at the Call Me logos. The SR. Ooh, this one is nice. I think I still have my Red O, but I sold everything else. Yep. Yeah, this is and dude, if the token takes off or whatever, like this is, you know, this one's almost going to be directly tied to like the price of Omi in some like weird way. Like as the price goes up, it's going to fuel the narrative, which, you know, kind of begs the question is like, does narrative drive price or does price drive narrative, right? Would there be more people using Omi to NFT and like buying into Omi NFT if for whatever reason it was just like slightly going up in price over the last like 3 months, right? Like if it was at 0032, but it was just slowly going up by, you know, 0005, you know, each month. It's just like, all right, it's just kind of climbing up. All right, people are obviously getting excited just because the price is going up. Now all of a sudden people are getting optimistic about it. I've owned Omi for so long. When I die, I want it to be at my funeral so it can let me down one last time. Jesus Christ. That is too funny. Just bury me with my Omi. Might be worth something one day. All right, we'll look at a few more. Oh yeah, we're still going through this list to find some more grails that I might have overlooked. I'm just looking at Peter Pan just out of morbid curiosity of like how many mints there are and stuff. I don't think it's a grail or a blue chip by any means, but I'm just kind of curious. Like 900 of these sold, 850, something like that. That is good, execu speak. Yep. Yes, sir. I'm getting a little tired. All right, let's go through this list a little bit quicker. Tickets or, you know, whatever. Marvel logo. I would give Marvel logo. I think it's a very, very low blue chip. If not, it's probably just a high A tier. Logos are can be hit or miss. What do you guys think about Alien? Actually, not this one, but like the actual Alien That's a diorama creature series. Is it in this one? Okay, that's the face huggers. I was looking for the I was looking for like the adult version. What a crazy looking cover. I mean, if you guys thought, I mean, this is kind of what I mean. Like, eventually we're just going to get more of these, like, red metallic stuff like that. They're just going to make different versions of similar collectibles we already have. Wolverine, we looked at. So, Alien. Not blue chip. Or A tier. You know what we need? We need Terminator on the app. Give me the T1000. Is that what it is? Or is that the liquid guy? That's the liquid guy. What's is it the T100? Okay, the T100 is the base model. That was Arnold. The T1000 is the liquid guy. But dude, if we got Terminator, if it has Arnold on it somehow, Grail status, depending on the mints. Yeah, I have quite a bit. I got a few 100,000 more from selling on Stacker. I'm still holding for sure. Been a rough time, yeah. Would be hilarious for you to own a face hugger if you. That's true, yeah. If you just like put it on a character and just left it there for a while. Sure, would be cool. Still waiting on Futurama, Gen 1 Transformers. Yeah, did you see my post that I did on X a while ago? Of all the characters I want to see on Veve. At least just like the IPs. Obviously, it's mostly video game stuff, but this one, or I'll slide it over. Whoop. Back. This one. Hell yeah. Oh, you guys can't really see it. An image in new tab. There we go. It's kind of hard to see because of my things. In the bottom left, there's Dark Magician and there's Shredder from Ninja Turtles. It's kind of hard to see, but everything else. So there's like God of War, World of Warcraft, Doom, StarCraft, Metal Gear, Warhammer 40K, Magic the Gathering. And the bottom left's kind of hard to see, but that's Rorschach from oh my god, the Watchmen. Like, we got Watchmen, EVE Online, D&D, Dune. If we got Dune, that would be insane. Halo. A lot of Bethesda stuff. Mega Man. More anime. Matrix would be insane. If we got Matrix, that'd be very cool. Agent Smith, Neo, Trinity, Morpheus. Even some of the vehicles, Sentinels. Resident Evil, Mortal Kombat, Half-Life, all the Bethesda games. I kind of put Link in there for like Nintendo, Gears of War, Titanfall, Diablo. I put in Baldur's Gate 3, but I mean, I like Baldur's Gate 2 a lot. Final Fantasy, there's Cloud, Terminator. Put Knuckles in there. I've always liked, I mean, I like Sonic, but I always like Knuckles a bit more, and I try to kind of fit the like the red color scheme here. Harry Potter in the bottom left, and you can see that. King from Tekken. I forgot. I had a few different like fighting games on it, like between like Mortal Kombat, Tekken, and I thought I had like another fighting game in here. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't play a lot of fighting games, but I get the appeal of like why people enjoy doing it. All right, let me close this. It's obviously mostly video games and anime and a lot of stuff, but I think like that's also what makes a ton of money. And also, I don't know if you can see the ghost face or whatever, but like any Studio Ghibli, stuff is also good too. All right, still Stacker messed up. Yeah, Stacker's still messed up for whatever reason. Still strolling for Grails. I feel like Omi is for people who aren't interested in collecting the VVs, who don't have time for it. Maybe? In what sense? I feel like Omi is for people who aren't interested in collecting the VVs, who don't have time for it. Maybe I'm too tired to think. Omi can only go as high as the collectibles take it. Omi can only go as high as the collectibles. VVs don't need Omi, but Omi needs the VV. Yeah, everyone's been saying that for a while, and I agree with it. But if everything pans out correctly and we get a big bull run and advertising and marketing, like Omi's going to be the way for people to buy, right? Omi's going to be where the big money comes in. It's like crypto money. I remember seeing it. They're all be solid ads, yeah. This makes me ancient, but Sonic and Knuckles plus Sonic 2 is awesome because you could use Knuckles to glide and climb all over the levels. Yeah, that's also why I played Sonic 2 on Sega. And you could like float and like you could start like climbing up walls. It's all stuff that Sonic couldn't do. I'm like, this is all the shit I kind of wish you know, I could kind of do anyway. I hate to say it, none of the Blackpink stuff is likely Grail status. Let's go further. Hello? Or is it stuck? All right, it might be stuck. Okay. All right, I think that's it. All right, I'm still... I don't know why it's not going further. And I really don't want to refresh the page. Like, it should be going back further than this. But I don't know, I'll do more research. I'm going to be making like a Grail, you know, Grail blue chip, whatever list video here pretty soon. So keep an eye out for that. I do want to start making like YouTube videos. I still have a few in mind. And I am going to be planning on launching my Discord probably like the next week. I know I've been saying that for a while, but there's one person coming back from a trip that's going to help me a lot with the Discord. And I do want to do like video ideas and stuff like that for my members. Maybe do like new emotes and stuff like that, like once a month, you know, depending on the theme of like VV and stuff like that. I think all that would be fun. I do want to start rewarding my membership people with stuff. Thanks for the stream. See you next time. Thanks, That's How. Thanks for hanging out. Mark D, I don't see the value in holding something worth 500 billion copies when you can hold Marvel and Disney with a few thousand copies or less. Yeah, exactly. So, but all right, guys. Yeah, thanks for stopping by. Check me out. I already retweeted it. BE. Actually, I'll show it right now really quick before I forget. I'll do it this way. I'm going to be on BE's stream tomorrow. Yeah, Edge of Spider-Verse tomorrow, so it's like me, Big A, whatever. So I'm actually going to be on the drop stream. I don't know what we're going to talk about. We're probably just going to shoot the shit. But I might bring up the conversation of Grails again and kind of start asking the community and them like what they think. All that stuff. Yeah, thanks for the stream. Yep. But yeah, thanks for hanging out, guys. Hope you guys take care. Double and triple check all of your listings so you don't screw yourself over.